Hello, hello, hello. I know y'all are so excited because I have all these amazing faces on your screen.
Let's go.
Yes, because I'm excited. So today, we are doing a review of Ready to Love, episode 11. And you guys know I always start with an introduction in the beginning and in the end, because just in case some of you guys don't get to stay to the end or watch to the end, you get to see it in the beginning because these are important people and they need to know exactly, they need to let you know exactly who they are. So we are going to start to my right. Is that my right or my left? My right, my left, my left. We're gonna start with Tyrone, and then we're gonna go around and let everybody know who you guys are and also where they can find you.
What is going on, everybody? Tyrone Wilson or Ty Wilson 21 everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Come and find me. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. Let's go. I'm ready.
Word. What's up? I'm Gustavo. You can find me on Gustavo Car on Instagram, and I am just a huge fan of the show. And one of my best friends in the whole world, Jamie Alexander, and I talk about it every week. That's how we met Miss Sabrina Seoul over here. And yeah, that's why I'm here, just to talk some shit.
Jamie, you want to go or?
Oh yeah, what's up? I'm Jamie Alexander. I am an on-camera host. I create content, produce things, and just like to have fun. Fan of Ready to Love, Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific time. We have our after show right after the show. And excited to talk about this today. I can be found on IG, Raher, Jaimi, spelled unique.
Kojo.
Hey guys, Kojo, Little Black Book 91 on YouTube and Instagram. I talk a lot about relationships and reality TV. So you can find me. My name is at the bottom there, LBB91 on all platforms as well.
All right, so we are going to get right into it. You guys know that I do not like to, because it's a lot that we have to go over. I mean, we are one episode away from the show, from this episode or this season being completely over. And I really need to get you guys' thoughts before we even get started on how this season went, how you feel about it, who you think the ending couples are going to be, in your opinion. I just want to get some of you guys' thoughts before we get into it, because I mean, the next episode, that's it. They're meeting each other on the bridge, on the walkway, in the park, in the water. They're about to meet each other or not.
Or just the swans. Right.
Yeah, Gus, anybody? What are your thoughts?
I mean, this season really is, I have to admit, and I might be a little biased on here, but I did enjoy your season more, you and Tyrone, your season a little bit more. This is fading a little bit for me because it seems very contrived. And when I think of something like Ready to Love, I'm really at home trying to see the love. Like, I'm grown. I would like to see the show being produced in a different way. It seems a little forced right now, especially with these people who just really don't match and haven't matched since about 3 episodes ago. And I think it would have been more fun to maybe focus on Clifton and Joy and maybe get some unfolding with courtship with them and trying to do many. Like, I want to see Ready to Love. I want to see Tommy get more hands-on and really try to help people with their dating life. So they did a good job for what it is. I think Dakia is an amazing woman. I'm so happy for Clifton and Joy. Sad to see Tori go home. I did believe he was ready to love, but his person wasn't there. Sabrina running around. She is doing Sabrina 2.0, doing her thing. She kind of reminds me of a dude. I don't really know what to say about that. Demetrius, I'm shocked that he is so shocked about where Sabrina's at. And I don't know, Donovan and Sabrina, that's interesting too. So there's just a lot going on. Carmen, I don't know. So I'm lost, but Clifton and Joy, what up? That's my take on it all.
I'll piggyback off of her, since this is what we do on our Friday thing, just to make her feel look better, because I talk a little more shit. No, yeah, to be honest, it feels produced now, right? I mean, we know how reality TV shows work. You get a pretty authentic point of view, what your desire is to put something into the universe as it is. You get that for about 3 seasons, 4 seasons, and then producers come on and they start to try to manipulate it to be according for network purposes. And that's just what it feels like this time. It feels like it's lagging on longer than it should. We should have definitely they should start to, give a better structure that supports the title of the show, Ready to Love. That's why Jamie and I started watching it, because we're ready to love what we think we are. So that's why we like talking about it and watching it. I don't feel like I felt that many people are really ready to love this season. And if they are, there are a few that I do think are. They're just casting did a shitty job putting people together, But yes, so excited for Joy and Clifton, because that gives me all the feels that I need all day, every day, because that's what I hope to achieve one day, being an artist, to find somebody else that accepts me in the way of life that I have. And they're so cute. I won't go too deep into that. But yeah, I don't know about anybody else sticking to the end. I think other people might be just hanging on to some swans and feeding them some pieces of bread because they might be by themselves,
Yes.
Yeah, I could jump in. I was really invested in this season, probably even more than our own season, because we're doing the panels and because it wasn't me. And I really wanted to see what the next cast was going to do. Jamie and Gus hit on a lot of points that I was going to hit on. It definitely feels like production put in work this season with the edits and everything. And it just felt more like entertainment this season instead of like a love journey. And they didn't really focus on the love journeys, which is what we were here to see. So after seeing everything, and they consistently have like a 30% success rate, if that. I was anxious to see where it all went. Because I was so invested, because I've actually met some of the people, have different takes on it. And it just kind of feels, I don't want to say weird, but really, really feels like it's produced for entertainment and drama and not necessarily love.
But they didn't even hit that mark. Like, it's not, I'm not entertained.
It's not even entertaining.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It feels contrived. Yeah.
I think I struggled this season because I like to emotionally invest in the people on my screen, whether I like them or don't like them. And I found it very hard to emotionally buy into the characters. I think maybe not having obviously the beginning of the show, being able to see, the very beginning in terms of people's thoughts and process. Because normally at the beginning of the show we have they give everybody's little bio, right? We didn't necessarily get that. I know some of us got an exclusive look into some of the characters, but we didn't actually get a public bio from these people that we normally get in episode 1. Hey, this is me. I'm like this. I'm like this. And then usually that allows people to start kind of forming opinions on people and say, hey, I'm going to invest in this person. This person sounds like me, or this person sounds like me. I think we kind of lost that this season. So we didn't have that. And then I don't know, maybe it being so close on the back of the last season, I'm jaded. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm interviewing people, and I thought about it. And I was like, I'm tired, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, because last season was like having one of those girlfriends that are toxic and just dragging you emotionally, and then you want me to go into another relationship straight away. That's how it felt. Like I was tired. So then, for it not to be produced in the way that, and I think I definitely agree with Gus and Jamie and Tyron yourself as well. We just needed a better storyline. Like, I need y'all to, I don't know what the producers are doing. I'm not trying to like shank you lot, but I just want you guys to just sit down and figure out, how can we produce a better story? That may mean getting better characters. Okay, so right now it's like we're choosing people that are purposely dysfunctional, and that part is great, but it just creates a chaotic dynamic where you can't really control and you can't really tell a story for. Therefore, we lose out. We don't really get the entertainment part because too much craziness is not cute. So I think from that perspective, for me, it was a bit too much, too soon on the back of the last season. And we're, as Tyron said, I don't know what percentage we're on, but 30% is generous. We're on like 5%, if that, on all seasons. That says that we've got big problems.
Well said.
Yeah.
I did like how they did that last season, how y'all had, I think it was like a 2-hour episode of just like, here's who you're finna be watching for the next, 11 episodes. And that did make it fun. And like you said, the emotional investment. And we were kind of tired after your season. I have to agree with that. It was just, we were here for it, but I was still like, wait, Dante, Sabrina, wait. No, we're still referring to you guys, everything. So it was really toppled on top of each other. But a lot of the people in social media are really saying like, nah, like they want more substance. I understand the entertainment factor when it comes to being a hot mess on TV, but people are actually craving something different. So I hope I'm not going to shank on production, but I sure hope they get the message in, look around the kind of Twitter space and social media and acknowledge that so that they can produce something better next season.
I'm going to shank on production because they deserve it. But I'm going to shank on them as well because it takes people like this having these type of opinions for them to be able to cultivate something that's working because we're speaking our mind and they know too it's not working. So I'm not considering it being shanking them. I'm just being honest with them and being upfront so they can, create the show that we want to see. I think the reason that we all watched or were attracted to it, you were all on it, is because we want to see real life love at our age, right? There are plenty of shows that have traumatic upbringings that are in their 20s or just people that are a complete mess in a shit show and all those things. You can see that every single place and every platform. I was drawn to this because I wanted to watch mature people fall in love. And last season, I felt like I was getting that. This season, I get it a little bit, of course, but that's why I was drawn to this. So I think they should definitely cater to more of the audience of which we're speaking because we're the ones watching it. So that's production should be listening to us and figure out how to make sure they can still cultivate love stories at a mature age and keep audiences drawn to them, whether that means following certain couples and letting them fall in love and stop trying to pretend there's some other person on the side that they're still trying to choose from. Are you positive? Are you sure? I'm 40 years old. I'm sure. Can I just work on this connection? You know what I mean? I think it's time to kind of mold a little differently, I think, for the show. That's what it feels like, at least.
Yeah. I think, honestly, real quick, I feel like production is taking, I don't even want to say a left or right. At this point, I don't even know if they're on the same road as they used to be on because they're doing so many things differently, so many things out of the norm, out of the box, unnecessary things. Like you see a lot of scenes like this now. With them on their cell phone. Tommy's calling Tina in real life. I really don't feel like Tommy was calling Tina. I felt like when the voicemail picked up, I don't really think it was her voicemail that picked up. I just feel like it's just so scripted and it's just overly produced. Of course, they have to have some hand in it. I mean, it's a TV show. That's just the reality of it. And they're going to produce it. But I just feel like at this point, they might as well give them a script. And I mean, they're characters at this point, and it just seems so washed out. And the crazy thing is I was on the show, so it's like I know the behind the scenes, I know what it took to be on the show, but what I see this season is completely, I feel like, different than what we even went through, which makes me feel like, okay, how is Miami gonna be? You know what I mean? It's just unfortunate, but I'm really not looking forward to it. And I really want to be looking forward to it.
Yeah,
right. I'm with you on that.
Maybe this one was too rushed. Maybe it was it was too rushed. And maybe Miami, hopefully they were able to take their time again and cultivate, what's supposed to be happening. And Jamie and I had said, it feels like your cast was their first choices, and they were like, but our second choices could fill in the space between two seasons or between a season, and so they took all the other B cast and they're like, let's do it on them. That's kind of how it felt. Yeah. And oh my god, I forgot my man's name on the bottom because it's LBB, so it's not helping me remember. Kojo, you must feel really played now after watching this season, watching 2.0 play the shit out of so many men. Is your heart okay?
My heart's still broken, bro.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm gonna send you flowers and chocolate. You deserve it.
Bro. I'm tired. Yeah. But I definitely hear what you're saying. I think I just wish they make better choices. I think I want to give them grace so you can get things wrong. I think we need a U-turn. I think we just need a U-turn. I think we need to focus, like I said, on getting better cast in there. What really blows my mind is we're doing mad, processes behind the scenes of getting cast in. So you lot are doing psychological warfare tests. I know I've said warfare on purpose because y'all are really trying to see who's good for war in this show. and then we get people come on the show, and you're like, whoa, you passed the test. My God, like, so then what
and you're
what
still here.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so who is marking the test? Like, and who's checking this test? Because how are you on the show? So then it's like, listen, one or two of them, but when the whole cast is looking a bit suspect, you gotta ask questions like, yo, like, so we just choosing people just to kind of, you know, be a bit crazy. Like, come on, we want to see ready to love, not ready to date, but ready to love. People who are ready to be open, you know, to sharing their heart. Let's choose people with intention of going towards there. We are not invested in the chaotic, you know, RHOA, whatever it's called, whether love or hip hop or whatever. I don't need that format. That's not why I wanted to watch the show. Like yourself, Gus, and Jamie as well said, I didn't come to watch that show for that. I came to watch people who are genuinely mature, who want to fall in love. That's entertaining. Give me that.
Yeah, they need to hire all the people that actually passed the test and stop bringing on the ones that failed for better TV. You know, like
like better TV narrative.
Right.
They probably picked him. It's so funny because I know someone made a comment before and was like, these people were supposed to be vetted. I thought this. I thought that they did background checks. I thought that XYZ. And I'm thinking to myself, and then someone goes in, and I thought that they did psych tests. And I'm like, maybe they failed, and maybe that's why they are on the show. Like,
100%.
I mean, you just never really know, because they're like, oh, that person's a little touch. They'll be perfect. You know, they're going to bring the crazy. They're going to bring the drama. They're going to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, they run all these tests for a reason. We don't know what they're looking for. We can't assume that they're trying to pick people that are not crazy. We can't assume that that's what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to pick 10 crazy people and 10 non-crazy people. And they're trying to put us together. You just don't know.
That's reality TV.
Yeah. It has to, at the end of the day, they want their ratings. They want to get paid. They want their checks. Because you know why? Because they still have to pay the people on the cast at the end of the day, regardless if it's good or not. I mean, it just needs to make sense. And that's why they edit the way that they edit. They do the things that they have to do, because it's still a business. You guys, we know if you have your own business, there's certain things that we have to do for our business, and we have to go the extra mile, and we got to step outside of the box sometimes, and we have to, you know, put ourselves in positions where we most of the time don't want to be, but we have to do it because it's part of our business. And that's the same thing they're doing. And I just wish that, you know, people would understand that and would give them a little bit of grace. But I'm an entrepreneur, so I understand. You know, I'm not saying that they're right for doing the things that they do, but we just have to understand and look at it from their point, because sometimes it gets on my nerves, honestly, when people are like, production. It's not all about production. It's about, this is what you signed up for. You know.
They're missing the mark, though. I think that's the problem. They're missing the mark of the target audience. And as an entrepreneur, as you know, as an entertainer, it's like you're supposed to cultivate your audience with an awareness, and it's just like you should be more aware of that you're losing your audience on this show. You can take all of the logistics and all the things that you're doing and put that in another space, another modality to bring it to manifestation. But that's not the target audience that is watching the show for those reasons, right? So they're missing the mark, they're missing the audience, and it's time for them to adjust so that, you know, normal people like us that want to actually watch people fall in love have something to watch.
Yeah.
You know?
Like,
So,
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what they want their target audience to be.
Do they even know anymore?
Yeah, it's starting to get a little confusing now.
I think they're doing exactly what they're trying to do, what they need to do, because I feel like their target audience wasn't hitting the like button. Okay. I feel like that it wasn't coming through. That's why the dynamics of the show changed over the past 3, 4, 5 seasons. You understand what I'm saying? Because they're like, this is a great show. It's still getting the ratings. They're still getting paid. Oprah Winfrey obviously wants it on her network, but guess what? It's something's missing. You guys are going to miss this opportunity. We're going to have to let you guys go, or you're going to have to change something. And guess what? They decided to change something.
Did they even have enough? Well, you know what? I haven't seen seasons 1, 2, or 3. I was only 4 and 5. But it's like, did they even have enough data to back up whether your season worked or not to make such a harsh shift? Like, it was too close together to even, I don't know.
Our season was the highest.
Views, yeah.
They definitely got numbers for us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So then why they change it so much?
I feel like they wanted to piggyback on those numbers.
Yeah.
Which is why they got that new casting right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't change the dynamic of what you're speaking though. You keep on with that. At least with yours, there was more, people that passed the test. It wasn't this. It just feels like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just want to see people fall in love. Thank you, Joy and Clifton, for doing
Yeah,
that.
I feel like we all have a little bit of hopeless romantic in us. And I don't know what the vetting process is, but just like last season, I feel like if they bring people in that are willing to have those adult conversations, or if they even like maybe, I don't want to say have a pre-show, but have a pre-get together before they start getting all these strangers on camera. And like if they were to like put them together and be like, hey, you guys are adults, let's have this conversation about who you like and who you don't like now. Right? You figure it out now and then film that process of them being able to grow into that and then cultivate all of the relationships that they do have instead of making people date people they don't want to date.
Yeah, I've said this.
And you know what they could
ruins everything. Yeah.
It does. And what they could have done if they wanted to spice it up is it was really obvious pretty early on in this season that a lot of people weren't going to work out. Have a party and let's get 5 more new girls in there. Have a party and let's get 2 more and 2 more. Like, see how some mingling goes and then choose those people to stay on the show because we've got some fresh and actual connection. Because Tori didn't have nobody since Sabrina, and that was like episode 2 or 3 since that little nibble on the ear situation. Demetrius never really had anybody. P.O., really? What are we doing? Tina's been MIA. Donovan's been lost. Like, y'all could have brought in like 4 new. They could have brought in some new people. They could have put some different curveballs in there that would have still added substance to the show.
Yeah. I also feel like a lot of the cast, they just weren't honest, with each other. I think that could have helped a lot.
That's another thing. True that. True.
It's like the curveballs worked against them this time, actually. But,
yeah, I can see that.
Curveballs coming, they swung and they missed.
It was a boomerang.
Yeah. I think I've said this before as well. Like with terms of maybe a direction they can go into is like really focusing on. I think if you're producing, you got to be smart about how you produce them, right? Because obviously people are going to have conversations behind the scenes. That's natural, right? And that's why I said, well, why do we have runners? Like if you're production, you have people who run for you, can do the little menial jobs. I said this. They should be investing in people to when you guys come on set. Someone asks you a question 5 minutes in. Hey, Tyrone, who you been speaking to? All right, cool. We've been speaking to such and such. Okay, what's the type of conversation we've been having? All right, brilliant. Let's get you two on set. I want you to talk about that conversation you guys had.
Yeah.
So that we can now see. Do you know what I mean? So that we get an insight into the kind of conversation you guys are having, rather than just trying to go for sensationalism, which works for a short while, but you get tired and it becomes satire at the end. So it's like they could have people doing this. Like you come on set. Tyrone, what you've been talking about, who you've been talking to, who you've been getting on with. Let's get you on a date with those 2-3 people. I do not understand this when you get on set. Do you know what, Tyrone? You've been talking to such and such, but I don't really care. I need you on a date with such and such. It sounds like drama, but it's like in the end, it's like you get those dates where people are like, so now you're having to stretch and push. Like, it doesn't make sense. Let's just get those people who want to be together, who want to go on a date together, get them on the set and produce. Ask key questions, throw in some questions that would be interesting for them to get to find out. Okay, you don't like cabbage. Okay, great. Talk about cabbage. I don't know. Find some questions that would help kind of foster a conversation. If you need help, there are card games out there that have great questions on. Start sliding them into it and start saying, guys, question. Here you go. Talk about this.
I'm also for enforcing some other rules, like no going out afterwards, right?
Because they drinks.
No social media.
They were enforced for our season. They were. We were scared.
This was gonna hurt, but no sex.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Right? Because the sex seems to be messing up things
a lot.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jeez.
Was your season 3 kids this time? Because and they didn't just film it? Because I'm just wondering, like, were you not talking about it as much as this season, and they're just filming it more?
I feel like this season it feels like you can see it come off screen a lot more than ours. On ours, you maybe had like 1 or 2 people where you were like, I think they might have did something.
Mm.
But for this season,
It's like everybody doing something naughty.
I didn't,
Hold on, what?
I didn't say all that.
Are you talking about getting off on camera?
No, I'm just saying. Obviously, like because every conversation seems to be this season something to do with sex. There's something to like, and it's like it's oozing off the screen. Like, and you're like after a while, you're like,
it seems like the sex is messing up things.
Y'all can't
You
get
know?
into
You
it.
talking about our season or this season?
Their season. No,
I mean, there was also
That's why I'm just being quiet because I'm like, that wasn't happening on your season.
No, I said our season. You probably maybe thought like on screen, like watching it on screen, you may have thought maybe 2 or 3 people may have had sex already.
Mm.
Yeah, I actually appreciate. I'm gonna, I'm the homo, so I'm different than all y'all. But I actually appreciate because we move differently. Sex to us is actually, it's not so.
It's part of the process.
Yeah, absolutely. You're a man. You know how important it is. So it's like, well, let's make sure that this works. And I appreciate that about this season. They talked about it from the jump. They weren't like, your season was very like, they kind of treaded on the waters with sexual talk and like innuendos, but we know who they were all fucking off screen on the side and all them behind the bushes when it wasn't there. So at least this one, it felt like it wasn't so contrived. It felt like, oh, well, this is what real conversations happen and how they happen. But I think the problem is the sex. I think the problem is that these people aren't emotionally adept to handling sex and still wanting to be in a relationship. Does that make sense? I think that's the problem.
Follow-up question, Gus. How is that like from an ego standpoint? Would it be like a deal breaker?
Which one?
In your world to find out that people were having that your connection had sex with someone else?
Ooh.
Would that be a deal breaker?
In this type of show and format or just in general?
I'm saying in your world.
In my world, if I was dating somebody and I was in love with them and we didn't have that conversation about it and I found out they were having sex with somebody else, yeah, it'd be a deal breaker for me.
During the process,
I wouldn't
like
be able to trust them.
Like during this process.
During the what?
So not like in love, just like dating 10 men.
Dating?
Oh
yeah. Well, yeah. If you're dating somebody, gay men are just like regular men where we're like, well, I didn't say we were together. I didn't put a ring on it. We didn't have that talk. They're going to formulate every excuse to still be sexually active with what they want to. Right. So it's different. They kind of just own up to it maybe a little more, or they don't deny it. I don't know what that would be like. But I think it's different. There's a small population of gay men that believe in monogamy still. A lot of them love open relationships. So it just depends on the person, really.
I don't know. I agree with Tyrone, and you already know this about me, Gus. And
you're straight. That's why.
Huh?
Because you're straight. That's what I was saying.
No. I get it, and I just, I always want to be careful. Does it have to? Sex is not bad. It's not like sex. It doesn't have to be. But there is a timing and a pacing involved, and I think we would all be kidding ourselves if we acted like it didn't change things. And speaking just as a woman, like if we have sex, like there's got to be conversations and stuff going on before that, because it does get complicated and people's energy changes, their direction changes. Men and women are different depending on when they get the sex and how. Like there's actually some men who are not attracted to women anymore after they have sex, or if they have it too early, because they're so used to having so much sex. So it's just like, you got to know what you're working with, because this is, no matter how casual we want to make it these days, it's still two becoming one. If a dude has sex with a woman, you all up, like we're one body, like, connecting to the womb, the creation, all these things. Like it's so much more than just like running through a bunch of people just to see if we're compatible. So it's been 2 weeks. I don't know. So I don't think it's a bad idea, because I think it has messed with people and how they deal on the show. And you can kind of see it like, girl, why you tripping a little bit.
It's always been this way. This isn't just these days. This has been going on without it being seen for eons of generations. Like this is how it's always been, without the TV or not. And I think that just speaks to the type of woman you are. And yes, I'm sure there's a huge demographic that feel the same way that you are. Women get emotionally attached. Then they date certain men who don't know how to place emotional capacity within somebody and sexual. And they think, yes, I'm just going to get the sex. so I'm going to leave. Some men don't want to just get the sex and leave, but they still want the sex. I just think it varies whether straight, hetero, or not. I think we all just need to have that awareness of ourselves. And when we find that person, have that conversation, right?
So you don't think the times are different? I think they are. I don't remember times where I could just open my phone and see chicks, butt cheeks, titties. People is out here calling it freedom.
There's strip bars. There's hookers.
I think it's different.
You get what you want.
I mean, it's a whole lifestyle out there.
All the time. Like,
it's different.
My mama was wearing halter tops with the titties out because that was cool back then. Even is what I'm trying to say. Like, they might not have nipples out, but the brain is still going to function the same way. The sexual connection, people, since the Roman days, it's just sex is what it is. We can place things on acting like it's worse nowadays, and that's fine. People can believe that. I don't. I think you see it more, so you give it more life, but it hasn't changed all the time. The sex has been sex, and it's been going on. People are getting cheated on all the time, every day. Their secretary, the person that brought them pizza, like it's happening all the time. Yes, our awareness.
Not the pizza man.
Absolutely,
I've heard male woman stories, male men stories.
Yeah.
Well, Tina was home missing,
Yeah.
with the kids, and Fernando was working a job and didn't have time for it. So Tina was like, "Oh, this young little stallion wants some. I need some." That happened before social media, that too. That's why they were cute. So I mean,
Yeah, there's whole virtual worlds out there. People going at it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, guys. So this is the thing. I'm so glad that you guys have been talking, because you guys know I really take time in preparing my pictures and my screenshots and everything. My computer is locked up down here. I can pull no pictures out.
Oh, you're good.
So we're at the So we start at the men's lounge.
So I mean, I have my notes, but I take time to prepare those screenshots. Like I pride myself in having great screenshots, and freak, I can't use any of them. Okay, so I just wanted to say that, just to put that out there. I'm so disappointed.
I can't do this. I gotta go. Bye.
Look, in real life, that's how I feel, because I'm like, I'm feeling some type of way. But yes, we start off in the men's lounge. Tommy pretty much starts off by telling everyone that he was supposed to meet up with Tina. She did not show up, and Tina's pretty much done with this journey. Real quick, your thoughts on Tina and her not showing up to meet Tommy. Like, do you guys think that she pretty much self-eliminated, but she didn't give producers a story to her exit, and that's why they made up this story about her supposedly meeting Tommy? Or do you really feel like they were like, you need to meet Tommy on Tuesday at 3 p.m. and she was like, okay, I'm going to come, and Tommy shows up to meet her and she doesn't show up? What do you guys think about that? Because I'm over here like, dang, I wonder what happened. So I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I personally don't see Tommy wasting his time, and I don't see them recording Tommy wasting his time on purpose.
Yep.
Knowing that there's probably a person or two dedicated to the story and also dedicated to a person. I think it went that way, but it didn't go that way, but it did go that way, but it didn't go that way. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think it could have been many
contrived.
things.
Yeah.
I think it could have either way. Everything you just said, Sabrina, I think could be a reality or could be fake. I don't know. It's hard to tell with the show right now, but I could see her not showing up. I could also more realistically see it being a plot line and them never even having the meeting, and just him being like, I tried reaching out just to make it, to seal the deal of the,
See, that's what I was kind of thinking, because they are real funny about, you can't just do that. It needs to make sense. They say that a lot. So
have to tell the story in. And that was the way for them to end a story, is by pretending there was something there and being like, snip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're saying.
And keeping her that flake narrative. She's a flake. Like she's
Correct.
the flake.
Correct.
She hasn't been in on this the whole time. She even stood me up. It's just,
right.
Yeah, her picture on the board behind in production. Underneath it says the flake. Like that's definitely how they have her up on there.
Oh my god. Kojo, you have thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if she didn't turn up for the Tommy situation, but obviously, old girl didn't turn up for the house situation. So, I guess that kind of sealed her fate there and there. You know, you mess with production, you gonna get one of these storylines. You know, at the end of the day, and it's unfortunate. You know, it's. I hope it's a concocted story. You know, but I mean,
I've never been on. Sorry.
Yeah,
Can,
it's hard
you,
to
guys,
tell.
you guys are
ain't it?
contracted. Like, aren't you contracted? Don't you have to like sign a contract and fulfill the obligations? So that's why it's hard for me to believe. I've done reality shows very little, but mostly reels, like scripted and stuff, not reality. So you show up. You have to. It's in your contract. You don't get paid. You don't like. So that's why it's weird for me. I don't know how this works. You guys probably have a better answer than I do. All of you guys, I think.
I don't really see a no call, no show happening. Right?
Yeah.
Especially at our big age, so
Yeah.
we'd be surprised.
yeah. It would be surprising, it would be
I mean, she kind of no-showed on the house situation. Why wasn't it no-show on Tommy? Just saying. And she did no-show on the house. That one was confirmed. That one I can tell you is confirmed. She no-showed at the beginning of the situation. So that one, so it's not hard to think that you might no-show on Tommy if you think that the whole show's working against you. It's given last season vibes, but I don't want to mention their name. But it's given last season vibes. You know what I mean? Like, just saying.
Because you actually interviewed her, Kojo. So
you know what? I have to interview her again because when I interviewed, I didn't see all these scenes. I didn't know this actually came up. Okay, I didn't know this came up, so I'm gonna interview her again. You know what I mean? I need to interview her again because that was crazy. I just think to myself, I do hope it is like I said, it's a contrived, it's a story that's been contracted because it doesn't look good. Like you said, Ty, right? At our big age, this shouldn't be one of those things. It should just simply be a text back saying, "Hey, look, you know what? even if you text back saying, "Hey, I ain't turning up," so I'm gonna be very honest with you. I see your message, but I ain't turning up. Y'all know why I'm not turning up, and then it's done. And someone's even put it in the stat. We had Ace also similar enough earlier on the season. I don't know if that was a storyline too, where Ace just literally just did her own thing and turned up later on. So you know what? People are turning up whenever they want to turn up. So it's definitely possible.
People are like, forget production, right? What I want to do. They take it into their own hands. It feels like, which is kind of empowering.
But like you said, Tyrone, that didn't happen. So maybe there are some nuances with Tina that weren't real, but we got a different story just to make it look a certain way. Because we talked about it last time we were all on. Ace did the right thing as an adult, and then it was pictured a different way.
It's easier to believe in like children doing this. So when you said adult, that's for sure. It feels like everyone's grown, and I it's hard to believe that they were calling her. She wasn't answering. Tina seems okay. I don't know her, right? I've interviewed nothing, but she just seems like a strong woman that'd be like, I don't want to do this anymore. We're not showing up. I couldn't imagine her just being like listening to the phone ring and just pressing end. Like she doesn't seem like that type of character, just from what I've seen on the show, and maybe I don't know, but she seems a little stronger than that. And just to kind of speak her mind and be like, I'm not going to the house. I don't have a connection. This is toxic. This is hurting me more than anything. I have a kid. I have a job. This is wasting my time. There's nobody there for me. Why should I come? Like, I don't know. She seems that type of forthright kind of person from what I've seen.
Agreed.
What do you think, Tyrone?
But she did end up showing up, though, which is confusing. It's confusing to me.
I missed everything, I feel like.
She ended up showing up.
That's why I said she didn't no-show already on the house situation. I can believe that she can no-show on Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she really did no-show on the house, so.
Okay, so Tommy does tell the guys that the ladies will be meeting their family, and the first up is Joy, and she's meeting Clifton's uncle and cousin. And pretty much they sit down, they have a powwow. Joy says, it's time, she feels like that her career kept her busy. And the cousin was like, or the uncle was like, well, Cliff has 2 kids. How will she adapt? She pretty much rode into that really well. She mentions that she's going back to Mexico and she's there 6 months out of the year. She gets emotional, and Clifton's family does have concerns about that. And he also says that Cliff also says he might even have some concerns because, he enjoys a woman's physical touch, and with her not being there, it definitely would bother him. So how do you guys feel about Joy and her being, I know I saw a lot of comments saying that, it was messed up, that that we're just now finding out, the viewers just now finding out that, she's gone for 6 months out of a year. Like, what's going to happen? Of course, I'm thinking Cliff knew that she was going to be gone. But the fact that we didn't know, I was like, maybe they were just trying to keep that for like a wow kind of factor. But it was like we were so vested with Clifton and Joy. And it's kind of now, it's like, just because of that little bit, now I'm kind of like, hold on, Joy. Like, you ain't tell me that by episode 3. Like, now I'm mad because now I don't even want Cliff to be with you because he needs somebody here. Cliff deserves to be happy.
Production got you. Production got you. They were like, and that's what we wanted people to react like. Yeah, it was too good. Everything was too good. They needed something to plug in later so we could think the stakes were higher than they really are. That's what it felt like. They're to me, I really enjoy watching them. They handle each other so well. I love the way that Joy felt like she started to formulate her answers with such a higher emotional intelligence that we've seen her, which has already been with a high intelligence emotionally. But like just the parlay off of those perfect people that he brought in to introduce her to, and just give thoughtful, real, grounded, authentic answers to people that could see that and receive that. I thought it was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, everything was going really, really well in that date until that part came up.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel like she's experienced this before.
Yes.
As someone that's been deployed twice, like I know that it's hard, right? And the fact that Clifton even admits twice. I think one time he says that he can't say that it's not going to bother him, and then he also says that it's not ideal and admits to being a challenge. So Sabrina, you mentioned that, Clifton knows, which means they had this conversation before, which means Joy probably knows that it's going to be tough on Clifton. So it was just all coming out at that time, but I'm still hoping the best for them.
It makes me nervous that Clifton is nervous because he, if I'm not mistaken, has a history of infidelity. So that could become a problem if they're not really, because it is what it, dude, I feel like some men can be so in love with whatever, but when that itch needs to be scratched, they gon', especially if they can get away with it, they gonna do what they gotta do. Majority of guys, unless you have been practicing monogamy on your own, your tendencies, he's saying it without saying it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm uncomfortable. I don't know. I'm gonna need to be touched.
He also has trust issues. He says he has trust issues. He like, so you and your ex-boyfriends, y'all be talking on the phone? Like, how often y'all be talking on the phone? Like, he
done been through some things, and he done put some people through some things, and even her ex said that he's going to be a tough one. I believe that they could do it. I don't want to put myself in Joy's shoes, but when you wait this long for a connection like that, bye Puerto Vallarta, or we can go together, or you can come visit, or I will.
No.
I don't think
yourself in Joy's shoes differently. That's not fair. I'm an artist, so I get it. I've had to leave for months. I've been deployed. You can't just be like bye Puerto Vallarta. You can't trust that other person's going to be there for you if you say bye. You got to keep your life going.
I mean, you got to do it at the right time.
Correct, but you don't do it right now. Like,
I never said do it right now.
Yeah,
it don't have to be now. I'm saying that there is a solution that they can come to.
Yeah,
and whatever they decide, Correct. So it could be goodbye Puerto Vallarta. It could be come visit me, because now we're asking Clifton to take time away from his kids, his job, so there's going to be some compromise, but I think this is a normal thing that happens when relationship comes up. But what I'm saying is, I believe there are hurdles that they can overcome. They're hurdles. But when you have a connection like this and you're in your 40s, I think it's worth exploring, as opposed to being like, well, I'm doing my job, or him being like, well, I can't do that. I don't think they'll give up this easy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like they're going to try it, which is important.
It's worth it. It's worth it to give it a shot.
Yeah, I see a lot of airline miles in their future. And plus, it seemed like the uncle kind of alluded to Clifton not having full responsibility of the kids, so there may be some flexibility there in his travels. But I definitely, that's a whole half a year of her career to say no to.
Right.
Nah, he gonna have to travel, improve himself a bit.
He has to prove himself.
Absolutely,
she does.
Yeah.
And the thing, don't forget, the thing that tied me to them in the very beginning is when they had that sit-down conversation in the very first episode. They both talked about how they want to be able to plant themselves at different places and travel as much as possible and explore and feel different things around the world. When you have that commonality with someone, that is such an interest, that is like a need, not a want, that bonds you right there and then. So I know that this happening is a surprise, and it's difficult, and might be difficult. They're going to figure a way to move through it, but they've known this about each other since. That's what kind of bonded them, I think, in the beginning. So
gonna need some. I think they're just gonna need some strong emotional ties. Okay, so this is an important time, because if the foundations are not right, I don't care how much you want it, you're gonna break up later on down the line. It's just an inevitable situation. So hopefully they've done enough of the emotional work and connected enough during this period of time where they are close to each other, that when they are at distance for that many months as well, that it becomes easier. I think just hearing obviously Clifton, I hope again, I'm putting hopes, so I hope again that the brother is able to find solace in the emotional connection that he has with Joy, and that can take away a bit of the edge of needing that physical touch, because the brother told us straight out the gate that, listen, the touch thing is going to be mad, so he's going to need that, right? I'm being careful not to put myself into his situation. I couldn't do it, but if he feels that he's got that emotional connection with Joy so much, and he can do, maybe he can fly out and maybe once every month or whatever, I'm a hope that's going to be enough for him. But I think it's easy to say it's enough now, because you actually see each other quite a bit. When that stretch happens and you don't see that person, when things happen and you can't see that person physically, you can't touch that person physically, that's another situation. But again, I know he likes to travel as well. He did say he wants to travel a lot, so maybe that could be the solution that helps, him go into different places and stuff like that. So yeah, but my bigger thing is not even just that. My bigger thing is his trust issue. Okay, because the brother said about the ex. I mean, first of all, I mean, anybody talking to the ex like that in an extensive portion, I'll be looking at you too. So I ain't gonna lie to you, that's not just a Clifton thing. But I think that trust piece, that's why I said emotional work needs to be done, because if you don't trust that person, she is miles away. You only need to see one photo that looks like it was something for you to suddenly get your neck be cricking. Like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's my biggest thing. It's not even the distance, it's the trust piece. Have they done enough work? Has Clifton done enough work that he gonna trust her all the way, that he gonna be comfortable enough that she's at that distance?
And hopefully
I think when you have that much big of trust issues, I think something in the root of that is that you don't trust yourself in what you might do.
Point. I don't.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to be like, the ex situation, how are you gonna act? Because you're so like, I know how I would act, right? It's that mirror happening. So yeah, that's the interesting thing, is to see if he's going to be able to see maybe that's his own inner demon as opposed to placing that trust on her. I don't know about y'all, but I don't know Joy. And from what I gather with Joy, is like, how could you not trust her? Like, she's so open. Like, I'm just gonna say it because no one else is, and I'm the crazy one. But like, she seems and he seems like the kind of couple that might be cool having an open relationship. They just seem really open and like just kind of doing things. I don't know. Who knows? What I'm trying to say is that there's not one solution for everybody. So that's why it's easy for me to give them the benefit of the doubt to see what works for them. You know, we can say what works for us, but we don't know about them. We don't know how they move or what will work for them or what's the solution to their trust issues within themselves or for somebody else.
Yeah, I agree. They're definitely going to have to come up with a plan. They're just going to have to come up with a plan to make this work. It's one thing for this to be temporary and say, okay, for the next 2 years, this might be this. I see that there's a little bit of value in being separated, not all the time, but it does give you an opportunity to know people on a different level and to build that trust and get that solid foundation going. But eventually, I mean, they're going to have to come up with a plan, and what that looks like for them is going to be their own thing. Yeah. They're going to have to make a plan.
Yeah.
For that.
Of course.
Uh-oh. Okay. I hope I can add. So there's this clear little block down at the bottom of my screen that's blocking certain little things. And if Kojo tries to come back, and when I try to add him, I'm not going to be able to add him. This is I don't know. It's like a clear little block. Like I hit a button and it was like something was supposed to pop up, but it didn't. And now, you know, that little circle that goes like this, it's like it's working. So whatever that thing was that was supposed to pop up, every time my mouse goes over it, it's working. And if he pops up, it's over the working area and I won't be able to click it. That's unfortunate. Okay, so I'm sorry, you guys. So next we have, and that's where the thing is with my pictures, where the button is to add my pictures to the screen. That's where it is. It's the little working thing is over top of it too. So I can't even. Okay.
I don't know if on your thing you can make one of us a moderator so we can see him add in. I don't know how that works on StreamYard. I've never tried it. Just a suggestion.
I'm gonna try to figure it out. But moving on, let's go ahead and discuss.
Maybe open another one.
So even if I've already tried it, oh, because his screen was all over here just a little bit where I could click it and it worked.
The Wi-Fi just dropped it here, so guys.
Yeah. It's okay. Yeah, even when I open up another screen, it does the same thing. That little clear thing, it's like I need to completely restart my whole computer, I think, in order to like get rid of it because I don't know what's going on. But anywho, we'll figure it out. As long as Kojo's here, I'm glad we could get him back. So next scene, we do have Sabrina and Donovan. They meet up. Donovan wants to talk to Sabrina. They sit down. The energy is so negative. I can feel it. I can see it. I can smell it. I don't like it. My face was like, as soon as they both walked up, pretty much Donovan says to Sabrina that he feels like she's playing games, that she says and does two different things. And Sabrina's pretty much like, I just don't understand why these men are tripping. Like, you know, they can't deal with women that have like multiple connections. And Donovan's pretty much like, she lying. She a liar. I ain't dealing with you no more. I'm going to move forward with Carmen. So yeah, that's what it is. And Sabrina was like, Donovan acting like a baby. He acting bitter while he was cleaning the dirty fingernails or whatever. So anywho, how I said that scene is exactly how I felt like it was happening. Like it
100%.
just, like it was two like kids just back and forth, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Donovan was sitting there like, and she was sitting there like the whole scene. I just was like, "Oh my god." So I love them both. I do, but I got a kick out of that scene. So tell me you guys' thoughts.
That's a tough one. It's so messy. I don't know. I can't tell if they're both kind of triggered by each other because they act alike. Like, I feel like Donovan has kind of been that character in women's life before he met Sabrina. And there is also a part of me that thinks it is challenging sometimes for men to handle a woman who has multiple connections. I don't love the way Sabrina moves. I'm trying to be objective when I look at her because the stuff she's saying, I know it makes sense to her, even if it doesn't make sense to everybody else with the process. I can tell that what she feels like she's saying makes sense to her and that she's doing things right and being a part of the process and being transparent with everybody. But again, I think you said it, that, you know, this is ready to love, not ready to date. And I'm not, I'm starting to wonder as you recapped that conversation, how much of what Sabrina 2.0 was doing with Donovan is Donovan kind of turning around and doing with Carmen. I just don't buy that connection. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know what I'm looking at anymore is what I'm trying to say. So they had their spat. I don't know. Yeah, it's just hard for me to decipher, but that's what I got to say on it. Hey, what up, Jay?
Hey, Jay, you right here?
What's up, Jay?
So who wants
Yo, what's up, yo? How y'all doing?
Good, Jay, right here?
Yo, I came in at the favorite part. I'm gonna let y'all go and then I'm gonna go because I got a lot to say on this one.
Please do.
Jamie just started speaking on it, so
yeah, I'm done.
Would you like for me to recap it, or you already got your notes and you read, Chief?
Nah, I don't have notes on it, man. But what's up, everybody?
Wow.
My guy.
Right.
Man, look, I feel like I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Sabrina was my favorite from the beginning. It must be about the namesake, but the way she moving. How would you say it, Kojo? She moving mad. She moving mad. Bro. And what I don't like, and I'm sure Sabrina's a great person, and it could be editing. I always leave it to that. It could be editing. But I don't like how she like has these little cut words where she emasculates the men like when she's done with them. You know, it's like, oh, he over there acting like a little boy. She said something very similar to Tori, and these are grown men. And I think that's very intentional. And I don't know if she's conscious of her doing it. But it's kind of like, can't he just be tripping? Why does he have to look like a little boy? Why does he have to be a smaller version of a man, right? And so that kind of that throws me off a little bit. But I think she has a lot to offer. But I think that type of behavior, it would be a problem if the man said, "Oh, she acting like a little girl." Y'all would have a problem with it.
100%.
Y'all would. And so that's one of the things I don't like. And I like that Donovan stood up for himself. Tori didn't as much. I think he let her lead with that. Donovan was like, yeah, no, I don't like how you move, so I'm good. You know, and I respect that. I respect that, you know, that's that look, hey, I know my worth. And I think he sat back at the if you kind of noticed during the retreat, he was sitting back in the cut, kind of looking at how she was moving and like, okay, this is how you move when we both in the room. All right, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And then so when you get a chance to see him one-on-one, you're like, okay, this is how you moving. All right, I'm gonna fall back a little bit and I'm gonna see how you go with this, you know? So I think he saw what was coming. And then she did the same thing with Demetrius, but we're gonna get that later. There's a recurring theme. Every man that was in some type of was her interest with her, he got cut down into being a smaller version of what a man is, verbally.
And she says a lot of things like that.
And now, what was it, Laverne? And now we like, oh, maybe it wasn't Laverne.
Thank you. I said the whole from the jump.
Did.
I was like,
you did.
This is not Laverne. This is her. And I was so proud of Laverne for standing up because I feel like you're saying, Jay, like it is so easy nowadays. If men have an opinion, then a woman's gonna jump and they're gonna ostracize. You know, he's done. And so the things she's saying, it makes me happy to see that people are like, oh, well, she's saying the same things, and that's actually not okay either, because then she's doing what the man is doing that she doesn't like the man doing, and that's why I was so happy when Laverne stood up for himself. Yeah.
And I think Laverne had said that there was a whole lot more that was said. She had cussed at him and this and that and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, I hear him, but I don't see it. Now I see it.
Yeah.
Right. Like whenever somebody gives her that same energy back, it's not okay. And it's kind of like one of my buddies used to tell me that I used to do this. He's like, you want people close, but not too close. So you do this and then you do this. You do this and this. And that's what she does when it comes to her love interest, right?
Absolutely.
She liked all these guys. When when Donovan pulled up on the scene, she was like, baby, what you want me to take this? You know what I'm saying? She was ready. And then he went in and then it was like, no, I'm good. Mm-hmm. And it could have been other stuff that we didn't see. So there's always that. But from what we saw, it was like moving mad.
She triggers me. Because I've dealt with a lot of men like her. That same thing. I said the same thing about her. She's like, no, don't come here. Don't stop. Come here. Like it's like, and then as soon as she sinks her teeth in, she's like, oh, actually, I don't think I want that. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it's just like, that's what triggers me in that sense. And I've sensed that from the beginning. Anybody that says, I'm the 2.0 version of myself, red flag.
Yeah, from the gate, you were like, nah.
Like 2.0, what? Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to be really careful of watching you. Like that to me, it's like it's the opposite of it. And she seems to be in that level of consciousness, which is, it's the wrong show for her is what I want to say in short. I don't think the show is the right show for her. I think she belongs on like Celebrity X on the Beach or just something that's a little younger, because she's still acting kind of childish. And that's why she likes to project that onto the guys and say they're acting like babies. I just think she was the right fit for this, of what we want and imagine the show to be, which is mature, grown people finding love already.
But also, they said it hasn't been that long since her divorce, though, right?
A year and a half, she said.
She needs more time on herself.
A year and a half, from what I remember.
Every divorce is different. Sometimes by the time you get to the divorce, it's been over for years. So who knows what that is, and that could be the case. But that seems like it took me a while, and that was just me though. It took me a while to get over, process everything from my divorce. But I think this could be
with her. I think with her it's different because from what we're watching, I'm witnessing someone that hasn't done the work on themselves yet. Even if it's been a year and a half, it could be 5 years, and if she was acting this way, I wouldn't see someone that's doing the work on themselves that is really ready to love. I feel like she could really benefit on some alone time and not trying to be in the dating scene, and just because, like Jamie said, she's creating narratives that she believes, but the rest of the world is like, that's not real. Yeah. And I think that takes time alone to really understand what you're doing and how you're acting and moving.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of believing everything she said in the beginning, and that's on my fault. And then seeing this, it was like, come on. Moving mad, you know what I'm saying? Like, just what triggered me though was the way she would talk about the men, even though these were guys that she was like, "Oh, Donovan's great," and this and that, and blah 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 blah.
He's my number one.
And then now he's a little boy. He's kind of like a little boy.
Yeah,
And that was disappointing to hear, because it's just because they're not doing something that you want them to do or behaving in a way that you'd want them to behave. You don't have to name call. And for men, that's absolutely insulting. Like the worst thing I'll say about a woman is I appreciate I don't like it when grown women have little girl energy. You can at least say it like that. Right. But I ain't calling him a little girl. Like, oh, she a little baby over there pouting. Come on, man. Oof. He's a grown man. And you get the wrong man and say the wrong thing to the wrong man like that, it's going to be a problem.
Agreed.
Interesting.
Come on, Kojo. You've been over there.
You know what? I don't actually dislike Sabrina, because I'll be honest with you, right? I see a lot of myself in her.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that Kojo 1.0?
Maybe not the calling out the names. She's able to play this game because part of her, and she's not the only one. There are archetypes that have come through the seasons just similar to her, which is when there's a part of you that's emotionally unavailable, this game works beautifully.
Yep.
Right. And that's what she gave to the men. Right. And I say this all the time. There are men who come through the season the exact same way. And she's emulating them. And that's the trouble with this particular Ready to Love sometimes, that it becomes a game. She played the game. That's what she did, right? She got to whatever stage she got to, she started playing the game because old girl knew from the very beginning. Listen, Demetrius was not going to be it. You started talking to him, you heard his viewpoints, you knew how he felt about things, you knew who won it, right? You started talking to Donovan, maybe you find him attractive, but you knew after a while that ain't it. Then you saw, you know what I mean? Like, and Tori too, she used him like a pawn. Like, listen, it is unfortunate, but there are pawns in the game of life. I'm so sorry, people. Some people are there for sacrifice. Okay, Tori, I love you, but bro, you
Game
were
of
there for
Thrones?
sacrifice. No. It's real. It's real because this. Remember, part of this show is you have to stay on the show. So I need some pawns in this game. All right, who need to be sacrificed? That's just what it is. I got to have other connections who are weaker. So unfortunately, Tori got dealt with in that way. I didn't. I think it's maybe like you were saying, the name aspect of them being a little boy. I think that's where it goes too far, and that's where she suffers. You know, if she was just direct as she was being and letting them know, listen, hey, look, you know what, we had a great connection. It's unfortunate, but look, I think we've got to a point where we're not connecting anymore, and left at that. Then it's different. She just goes that one step too far, which is speaking to something a bit more deeper. Because if you're a game player, you can gameplay and be like, oh, well, you know, guys can't catch me. All right, cool. But when you go that one step further where you have to say someone's a little boy, now it's emasculation one aspect, but the other part is you are trying to maintain the power that you've gathered, and you feel the best way to do that is to knock down the subjects. And that's a problem. Because now you see power as, if I hit you down, I keep you in position. Trouble is, it just looks really bad. So I actually don't mind her having her gameplay. If that's what she want to do, that's her business. That's not really ready to love. But hey, I've seen people do it every season. That last part where you do start saying he's a little boy for challenging you, I do feel with the Sabrina and the Donovan situation, love Donovan too, but it's a bit rich. Okay, you can't be out here jumping into beds, whether you were seen or not seen, and then complain when someone then has a little food in someone's mouth when you saw them in front of you. Like, you can't complain about the way they're moving when you're moving mad too. That's hypocritical. You know what I mean? And just because you are sneaky enough to do it behind the scenes does not mean you get away with it, right? So you can't have that expectation on somebody, but you do the exact same thing behind the scenes. It's like, oh, I'm having sex with bare different girls, but you ain't seen it though, so why are you complaining? No, you don't get to then tell the other person you moving kind of incorrect. I do understand if he wasn't moving like that, if he was like, look, you kind of was like, yo, putting food in my man's mouth, like, it kind of hurt my feelings, like, you know, seeing that kind of thing. I would get that, but you can't be talking when you're in somebody's bed. You can't be doing when you're crawling in someone's bed. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think I see both of you. He was also jostling for power over Sabrina too, because you realize, as somebody who's, as we're grown now, right? You can see that Sabrina's playing a little bit of a game. So what you gonna do? You're gonna play your game too, right? But then you try and play the victim now, as if old girl was only one moving mad. You was moving mad too. Right. If your thing comes out now, you can't even talk. You're gonna shut your mouth. So now that interaction you have, Sabrina, can't come out the way it's coming out. So for me, it's holding a high ground, but you don't actually hold it, because if your stuff comes out, you can't hold it. So you a game player too, Donovan. No beef, but he a game player too.
I can see
for
that.
Sure. You know, for sure. Well, you guys, I didn't know we were watching Big Brother or Survivor, and that's exactly what we're saying. The component of what you guys are moving with, that's not the point of the show. That's not what I watch Big Brother to watch Big Brother, to be strategic and to sacrifice people when they come on. Poor Tori was like, I came on for love, and she sacrificed him. She like
Gosh, she never sacrificed nobody. Gosh, you never sacrifice them. You have 2 or 3 people you're talking to. You sacrifice on one of them. One of them is not really your choice. You just having them there because they're making up numbers. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
if you multiply,
say that's the problem with the show. Is what I'm saying too. Is people seem to want to be on it for clout, to get more money, to make it to the next episode, because they're playing it like a game. And then we're basically saying, oh, this is ready to love, but not ready. But play the game to be it. I don't want to play a game to be ready for love. I'm too old for that shit. And that's a different show, and that's a different network. That's kind of that's what I mean. You know.
I mean, can you blame them? No. Can you blame them? If you give people opportunity to have multiple people they talk to, a lot of people get wired to play a game, because I don't want to get hurt. So I'm going to play. It's like, I don't want to be hurt. A lot of people don't want to be hurt.
I do blame
them.
The
game automatically
comes out. Your own fear of getting hurt, that's not an excuse. Your fear of moving because you're afraid to act accordingly, that's not an excuse. So I don't agree.
No. I'm saying in terms of the fact that the game mode okay, so if you get on the show now, Gus, right? You're not having one person you're gonna be talking to. You're having several. And that's why I said to you, like, if you have several people you're talking to,
I wouldn't do it the way she did, though, because I guess I had more integrity. I wouldn't be trying to manipulate them all and believe like they're my number one. You know, she was really, the way she said and talked to people and gave them their time was inauthentic. It was mean.
We always knew Demetrius.
Yeah, but why was he number one when she knew that he wasn't even the one, though? We knew like what she did. We'll get to in a second. We knew she was gonna do that to him. When they were sitting there, we knew the outcome. So it's like, I understand playing the game to protect yourself, but you have to hold yourself at integrity. And the whole point of the show, if I was on it, is to find love. So I probably would have been more like Laverne and kind of just watched back and then gave myself a little more when it was time and appropriate, instead of giving so much to hype these people up to break them down. I see that enough on every other TV show. I see that in real life.
Unfortunately, life's a game.
Art imitates life, right? Like that, and that's what this is, where you see, and what I always say that I like about this show is that there's always some takeaways where we can see something that's happened in our life, where we've been one of the people on one of the sides of it, and then it starts the conversation. And then you think about it the next time when you run into it, like, you know what? Let me not be that person. Let me not call her a little girl when I'm upset with her.
Yeah,
you know, because she didn't play the game way I wanted her to play it. You was a pawn. You're supposed to take that pawn move. That is what it is. You're a disposable piece on the board, and let that be that, but not have the name call afterwards. Right? Yeah, there's always that. Okay, you know, I'll be a better version.
I agree that
maybe this
Tommy should
bring up 3.0.
Tommy, I think, needs to come in a little more and be like, you're not ready to love sooner, because it's really clear from the beginning, especially if they're going to move with that mentality of like sacrificing people to win. You're not ready for love. That's not what you're here for then. So I think that's on Tommy to really kind of, maybe he needs to have more of a say in these eliminations than the fellow people on the show, if that makes sense, because I think there's a discrepancy between ready to date and ready to love. And ready to date, have your cards up, play your game, sacrifice people. Ready to love, you're supposed to be in a different mentality and a different awareness, and I'm not seeing that.
Please and thank you, because that's the kind of stuff that turns me off from dating altogether. Like, don't play with
that's
me.
why some people
I don't play.
And dating.
You somebody's number two. You somebody's number two, though.
I'm nobody's number two because I don't play like that. I'm nobody's number two right now.
I think it's hard pressed to say you're not. If you're talking to somebody, people
I'm not
have
talking
numbers.
to anybody.
Okay, but you know what I mean? Like, if you're talking to somebody, there is no guarantee you are.
I need focus.
Oh, that's such a negative perspective, though. That's just how is that valuing yourself?
It's about it's about being real. If in this day and age, there are multiple options people can have. So if you're talking to someone at the very beginning, you're no guarantee. Now, as time progresses, as you're talking to somebody, you should be able to say, listen, hey, this is what I'm on. This is what I'm on. Are you on the same thing?
You are like Sabrina. You are like Sabrina.
Because I see things as what for me is real. Not everyone plays life the exact same way. There are people that are genuine that can only focus on one person and have that one interaction, and that's solely it. And you see those people get played, no offense. Because when you are solely focused on certain people, sometimes you don't get the energy you need back from that person, leaving you vulnerable. That's how I see things. So I'm saying I don't disagree the way Sabrina dealt with things. It's just that the name calling part tells me there's something deeper. If I have to dispatch of you in that way, that's a callous way of dispatching of you. I totally understand why, if you have multiple people you're talking to, they are going. This show, in order for you to stay on, there is an act of game playing. Clifton and Joy are playing a game. You can't tell me they're not playing a game, because you two are like each other, but you stay on the show, you have to date other people.
They need to keep them. I think they need to keep them. I don't think they have to actually play the game, because they need them, because they're the only couple that's going to stay.
They need to vote, so they need to vote.
Does Clifton
but as much as he likes Joy. Go. Who else are they going to have together? Who's gonna survive in the end if they don't have them? Nobody. And then they're gonna get
even worse.
They're not doing their job.
Does Clifton like Dakia as much as he likes Joy?
I think what helped them is that they changed the wording by asking who is at your bottom, right, and not who your top three are. So because they technically weren't at anyone's bottom, right, they got to stay on. I'm actually not even mad at Sabrina. You know what I mean? Like I got a different take on it all. And we mentioned playing the game, right? And we also mentioned the fact that sometimes the egos get in the way when we talk about who's number one, who's number two, and who's number three, and nobody wants to not be number one. But if you look at it, statistically speaking, almost all of the couples were somebody's number two or somebody's number three at some point, right?
Authentically, all of them,
because we're dating all of these people. Say that again.
Authentically, all of them, because I don't think there was a number two for Joy ever.
No, I'm saying statistically speaking,
like, was number two
for the most part. For the most part, yes. So because it's not conducive for a person to have a number one throughout, because you're going to end up getting voted off early, right? So you do have to play the game. So when I saw Donovan come up, it was like he was done at that point, and it was like, damn, girl, like we could have had something had you just kept it real with me. You know what I mean? That's what it was given. It was also given that there's a lot that we didn't see, right? And there was a lot of like personal attacks, and I feel like production and the editing tried their best to keep it as classy as they can. I feel like those conversations were a lot worse. They were a lot worse than what we saw.
I agree.
And I feel like the three of them, I call it like that three-headed monster, Demetrius, Sabrina, and Donovan. I feel like they've all reached the point of no return, but they wanted to get their shots off first. You know what I mean? So they were like, bang, bang. You know, you're not going to get me.
They wanted to play the game.
You're not going to get me on national TV.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you know, and then there was another thing with Demetrius, like, there was something that threw me off when he was like, we need to like move forward and work on something. And I was like, work on what? Is it something that he messed up as to why they need to move forward? So it was a little bit confusing.
That to me was like a continuation from their conversation when we were on the retreat. And she was like, we need to move forward, blah, 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 blah. And so he's like, all right, but I feel like all his moving forward, he sat back and watched too long. And then by that time, the momentum was gone. And in this process, as you guys know, there's always somebody else while you're pulling back, there's somebody else pushing in, right? And so like you don't have, in real life, you may have that opportunity. Ty, I feel like you smile because of the sexual reference, but that's not where I was going.
It is because I had mentioned it earlier when we were talking about that point of no return. And I was like, keep the sex out of it. And I'm not saying they did have sex, but that's what it's given, right? That's what it's given. It's given
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. You think so?
When you say things like the person is saying one thing, when you say things like a person is saying one thing but doing another thing, and you that mad?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, well then that means that with Laverne they did too. Then
no, I think that's just Laverne's personality. He just was over it and wasn't having it and didn't mind putting her on blast.
100%.
Well, Donovan eventually did it too, but it was just different.
But he was butthurt.
You see that face?
Laverne
You see that
butthurt. Yeah.
That face Donovan was making at the table. He was like, done.
I think he was just done though. That doesn't mean that they got busy. That doesn't mean she got the minerals. You know what I'm saying?
Like you could be done and you could be mad done. Like he was.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. Guy is here, Kojo. Go ahead, bro. Come on. You here.
You got the mineral.
You don't got it still.
Not the minerals.
Over here dying.
Listen, I'm here. I do hear what you said, dear Ty. I do. I'm not saying definitely. I'm not either way, but I'm not against what you said. I think there's an opportunity for that as well. I think you know, that potentially could have been the case there. You know what I mean? I just think to myself, people are power grabbing, and that's the honest truth. And that's why sex is an important thing, because sex is part of a power grab, right? Especially for us as men. If I sleep with you, everything after that, you try to chat, I'm gonna listen, but I slept with you. So what are you saying? Like it's a power grab. Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like you that's why sex becomes so important. I know, babe. I'm so sorry.
But just too many games. That's why you wait. Like,
but this is people. You go in a dating world, people are playing games, and Ready to Love reflects a lot of that real life situation of people playing games, people power grabbing, people wanting to feel validated, people wanting to feel loved, people wanting to be worshipped even at points in time. And so some of these interactions people are having are really about more than just I want to be loved. It's about sometimes other things that are working around that. And I think with Sabrina and with Donovan, I think there was egos heavily involved. Two game players met at the table and they both were saying, you ain't gonna play me. And that's why the intensity of their argument happened as it did. Sabrina's like, well, I've been playing my game. Like, she said something that didn't even make sense. She said, well, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you knew I had connections. Yeah, babe, he also had connections. But you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, everyone's got connections. But then now you getting stressed about the fact that he had Carmen. Does that make sense? If you're now telling him that you've got connections, so he should chill, but then you get you saying, oh, well, I eased up because I saw you have Carmen. Does that make sense? Sis, you just told us he should be okay with your connections. Now you're not making sense because you're on gameplay mode. And that's what I'm talking about, how the egos come into play. And he's getting stressed because she said she don't feel like he's ready to love. Bro, just address it with her. Why are we angry? Just be like, yeah, bro, I don't think that's the correct thing. I think you just bring it to me, let's have a conversation, let's talk. She mentioned it in the lounge with the ladies. It is allowed to be mentioned. Why are we getting vexed about somebody mentioning you? I don't think you're ready to love in the lounge. Just address it with her. So that's what I'm telling about egos being played in this stuff. I'm like, yo, bro, like, let's be honest, Donovan, man. You play the game too. She played the game. We get annoyed when people play the game better than us. Let's be honest. I got an ego. So if you try to play me, you're going to see some, you know what I mean?
But that's what she said. She was like, I think the men's egos here are too big and they can't stand a woman with options. And I think I'm seeing that because Donovan, as much ego and game playing he might have had, Sabrina made sure she was Tori's top, Demetrius's top, and Donovan's top. Donovan went for Carmen afterwards. Donovan was kind of interested in Tina and was pissed when Tina didn't come through because he didn't have the connection. So Sabrina was playing her quote unquote game better. Yeah. And he just had to kind of take what was left and then try. I'm ecstatic. I'm with Carmen. Okay, Donovan, like you wasn't checking for her until that last little Big Bear trip or whatever y'all did because you didn't have nobody left. So Sabrina, she got under their skin and they couldn't play like her because, and all of them wanted her from the gate. Like, Sabrina. Well, there you go. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you looking for? What part of you is so interested in that you got caught up? And that's something that I don't think it'd be a bad idea if Donovan, Demetrius, or Tori asked themselves.
Well, I think a lot as men, we notice the physical first. Right? We notice the physical first, and then we go into what's underneath the hood, right? And don't take that one again, Ty.
No, I noticed that. I noticed that instability right away.
I remember you saying something about it, Ty, at first episode. I watched your
So
that's very aware of you, by the way.
Look, I didn't see it. I remember you saying it, and I was like, "Nah, shorty, nice," you know. And then, sure enough, the logo gets it right, you know.
I didn't take it as her being upset that he had a connection with Carmen. I took it as her noticing his ability to switch to Carmen right away, to be like, oh, we're here at the retreat. Oh, I'm not a connection anymore. And then to just jump in bed with another person. That could have been her point of no return. You know what I mean? And I also feel like at that point, right, when they get to the retreat, everyone starts talking. And they're like, yo, bro, like the fellas start talking, the ladies start talking, and they're like, yo, I'm about to make a decision. What's good? Like how, you know, you start talking and then people start revealing how far they may have gone. You know, they start to, you know, man to man, this is the real deal. Like this is what's going on with us, right? And then once you hear those things, you may hear more things that you can't recover from. And you'd be like, man, like this chick has been lying the whole time. You know, I'm not saying I'm speaking from experience. I'm just saying
you sure?
It just happens like that, you know?
It does.
So, yeah.
Ready to date.
So bang bang.
There you go.
New show title. Ready to date.
Some people play the game. Some people really play the game. It didn't come off as she was wasting their time. It came off as like she was allowing them to show her them. And at no point was I like, Demetrius is really, really into her. Demetrius is going hard for her. Like, at no point did I say that. I could only say that about Tori, but Tori became number 3 once Donovan arrived. But I feel like she realized the connection with Donovan was more lust than emotional, which made her keep Demetrius around.
Or could it have been the fact that he wasn't all in like Tori was, and she wanted somebody else to take that all in spot because
she knew Donovan was all in? I'm pretty sure she knew.
No,
Donovan from the entire thing was like, I'm gonna go see what's all here. He saw what was there. I think that Sabrina still would have had a chance if she would have just said that. I feel like he was waiting for her the whole time.
Yeah, but he also sat back and, Kojo, Sigma male on this one? For sure. So he sat back and peeped how she was moving, which to a Sigma male means more than anything else that we've had in conversation. I need to see how you're moving. And now that I see how you're moving, that changes everything for me.
Yes, that does make sense. But I feel like he was waiting for her to tell Demetrius that she is about Donovan.
Yeah.
And she never did that.
Agreed. Yeah. I don't think Donovan was that keen to things because he was still in the Sabrina land of it all. I don't think he was that keen at all. I think he was waiting. And then as soon as
he's the last one there too. So there's always a bit of like playing the makeup game when you get there. You've got all this coming at you. Everybody else has been together for a week or two. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, who's what? Okay, shorty nice. All right. And then you feel like you're playing catch up. Like you're trying to juggle. You gotta show out this reference, 5 balls in the air.
I think he knew he was in there, right? Like, you've been on dates. You can tell when a lady's trying to give you the panties. You know what I mean? I think he knew that.
I'll come for you guys. You're all right about me,
Well, Sabrina was trying to throw him her
panties. Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah, I think you can say that.
But she said it. She said it. She said 2 more drinks. I would have been.
And she'd have been out and gone.
Period.
But she wouldn't have again. But she would have held. Okay, so because she's partly part of her is emotionally unavailable. I'm just going to keep it real.
Absolutely.
Because and now I got to look at the guys because what the heck were you lot seeing? See, what were the guys seeing? Right, because 100%. in an interaction there is a silent warfare that goes on between 2 people in terms of who's going to be on top, who's going to be the leading character, who's going to dominate. I know you probably don't like that, but that happens between 2 people, right? When you meet somebody, if someone's got a dominating character or personality, they tend to want to take lead. Yeah. And Sabrina is making sure that she keeps herself makes herself invulnerable to these men by keeping distance, right? Tori, that's it. Listen, I love Tori, but it's his own fault. He was a lamb to the slaughter for his own fault, because you said it to us in the show, like, oh, the contact's been a bit iffy and biffy. Bro, if it's been iffy and biffy, she's not really on it. It's that simple. That's how I look at it. If you're iffy and biffy, you're either playing the game or you're not really on it. And that's for me. When people do that, I dip out. Do you know why? Because I like to play that game first. Just saying, that's my old me. That's my old me. It's a dark arts. That's the old
1.0. 1.0.
0.5.
You know, so that's part of the game, right? So my question is, what did the guys see? Because if she's not going to surrender, because she was never surrendering. At any point was she surrendering? Demetrius and Donovan both got a Sabrina who said, I'm not surrendering. Like when and women interact and the woman starts to like the man, there's a surrendering that happens. She begins to soften and begins to follow your lead. When did she ever do that? The men are peed off because they fell for the trick and didn't stick to their guns in terms of, actually, old girl, was not going to yield. And she beat you to the punch. You thought you were going to beat her to it. She beat you to the punch. And that hurts. For a man, ego-wise, that seriously does hurt. So they have to take an account and look at it. Goes to, why did you want to continue to chase somebody who ain't surrendering?
Yeah.
And here's the thing too, though, like I think you're absolutely correct. Like you nailed it with that, Kojo. I believe that. But it's just also like, if any of them were going to continue with this foundation that they both have, like, I don't really see any of them lasting with her. Even with them, when I look at Demetrius to me, and from what I'm seeing, was solely there to win Sabrina. So after she played this guy, played that guy, he would have loved to just walk up and be like, I got Sabrina. And then it would have been a nightmare after, and the fairy tale would have been over. So it's, still on that ready to date thing, because I'm not mad at it. There was something that Sabrina said in the beginning, I'm just here to experience, or she kind of like alluded to the fact that she's just like dating and seeing what's out here. And I think she did move accordingly, as much as it did make whatever. She stuck true to that through the whole show.
From what we saw, it seemed like Demetrius got lazy after he got the kiss on the ear. It was like, I'm in there. I ain't really got to work no more.
Okay.
Wow.
Right? And Donovan didn't really see that. But Joy actually called Demetrius out and was
sure did.
Who do you even like here? Like, do you really like someone here? So she was seeing that as well. So
in retrospect, now that I look at it, like, that makes so much sense. But in that scene, I thought that it was more of her lashing back to him because she didn't like being in an uncomfortable position of being in the bottom.
Yep.
Now
I didn't get that vibe.
Me and Jamie called the same exact thing when she said.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe.
Oh no, she still lashed out. But she was true.
But she's solid though.
It was facts.
She lashed out because it was facts. Yeah, exactly.
But she still lashed out.
Yeah, Sabrina was willing to put herself out there in the
I
truth
was
or
just
dare.
gonna say that. Thank you.
You know what I mean? She made her choice known, so she could say that, hey, like, the things that I'm asking from you here in this process, I'm willing to do. Right? Don't wait for me to. I don't want to wait until we're outside the process. I'm doing it in the process. Why aren't you?
I just
It's so
didn't see her being
interesting.
the quote unquote villain of the season at this point. From the beginning, I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming. I didn't.
Because we think that she's moving like a dude, when I think there's an unhealthy bias there. You know what I mean? She's playing.
I don't credit it
dating.
dude or woman.
She's dating.
She's dating. And she's not ready.
She's not ready for them.
She's not ready. She's not ready for love. She's not ready for herself. She doesn't know herself. That's why we're here. It's like, you obviously aren't ready to move forward. You don't know what real commitment is, what it looks like. You don't know yourself well enough. And I want you to parlay off of Joy really quick, what you were saying, because it reminds me of OG Sabrina right here. I don't think she was trying to react or lash back out. I think she was very much grounded in her truth, just like she was. There wasn't a lashing of like calling him a little boy or like trying to salvage herself. It was more, let's cut the bullshit. I'm going to make sure the cameras can't edit this anyway. And let's be real right now. Let's be real. It wasn't a lash out to me is what I want to say. It was a let's be real moment.
Yeah.
But I can see how straight men would think it's a lash out.
But that's the kind of woman you want, though. Honestly, if you're really looking for a woman, that's the kind of woman you want, and that's why she's
I think a man that's ready to love wants that. I think men that are still playing the game and have their walls up and still like trying to like navigate and have 1s, 3s, 7s, and 4s, they're always going to have that perspective, which is going to be lashing out because they're not going to allow themselves to be in the intimate space to hear the truth that's coming through, to see the eyes truly seeing you. Because you want to have this glaze because you're still affected by the hurt. And you don't want
to be in your ego.
Yeah. You don't want to be in your ego.
No, you lot are glamorizing this way too much. I'm so sorry. Way too much.
But is he though?
Glamorization is crazy, baby. Like,
I don't know about that one,
with you that Joy said the truth. Listen, I can say the truth to you right now. I could tell you a truth right now to you, guys. I could say, gosh, this, and it can still be a lash out. It can still be the truth. The two can hold. We can hold two truths. She was telling the truth, but it was a lash out. Oh, girl, thought she was going home.
To be a lash out?
Yeah, why does it have to be a lash out?
Because women don't have to just be like, and so did you say this? And
no.
But do you really like?
Because of the way she said it and when she said it.
Yes, like she lashed out on me. Like you got
See, no, that's what you just did there. That's what you just did there is a problem. Let me tell you why. If I, as a man, came and said to you, the first thing anyone's going to say is, "Why did you come with that energy, rah energy?" And the reason
wasn't even all like that.
She was like that. That's what she was doing.
Yeah, but that's what I feel like you see.
No one's saying it was aggressive. I'm saying she lashed out in the sense of she thought she was going, and it's okay.
Are you single?
But she told the
truth.
truth.
Are you single?
I am single.
Okay, I'm
Yeah, I'm single.
It's like,
What's that?
You sound single.
Right, but see right there, that's cheeky comment, right? But if I now come at you and go, well, are you single? And then you say, if you are single, and I say, well, that's what it shows, then it can be looked at as a lash out. I'm saying to you that the way she said what she said, right, is still true. But the way, the timing and the energy of when she said it, it was a lash out. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make it that's not true. She said what she said. It was still the truth. No one's expecting to be like, oh my God, like, oh, Demetrius. No one asked for that. We're just saying the way you say something is very important. The energy, the tone, and the words you use communicate something, what you're actually saying. That's what we're saying. What you just did to me was a little bit cheeky. It was kind of rude.
No.
In her defense,
it was a genuine, honest question because
no, it was cheeky. You tried to draw me out. I keep it real. You tried to draw me out by saying, "Are you single?" You're waiting for me to say single and say, "Yes, it makes sense why you're single."
No,
that's a draw out. That's energy.
I don't need to backtrack. I don't need to try to be like.
I'm not saying backtrack.
None of that's gonna happen.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is.
I'm just saying. I'm listening to you as a man, and I hear women speak all the time. I hear women speak all the time about what they really want from a man. Yeah. And the things that they get triggered by are a lot of things that you're saying. So that's why I'm asking if you're single still, because the women that I know that are ready for love, you guys wouldn't be compatible. So that's why I'm asking this question. So I can get more of a clear objective of how you're moving, because I'm hearing you and I'm seeing it. But you're instilled in the truth of it, which makes sense because you are where you are right now presently.
I was gonna say,
leave that alone.
In Sabrina's defense, she did say that in her confessional, right?
What?
Back there, in the confessionals, like they're trying to get you to say shit. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to get you to another level so they can have some kind of soundbite. Not saying that she wasn't coming at him hard. This is just me trying to play devil's advocate about it all.
I don't know. I guess it just still bothers me the coming at him hard thing. And you know what, Kojo? I respect your opinion because, and I think, Jay, you're on the same page. If that's what you heard and what you saw. But as a woman, when I sit up there and look at her, that's very challenging for me because to me, what you're signaling, just to me, and I could be completely wrong, is that you just want somebody to deliver things in such a cute little perfumed package. Right. And when I need to tell you what I need to tell you, you can't. Joy's character has spoken enough for herself to where what she said to him was just her keeping it real with somebody. And I don't know, I guess when I think lashing out, I just see a little bit more chaos than her being like, did you have a connection? But what about you? That's just like a lean in and a question in this. She wasn't like, well, I'm not up here trying to, like, this is lashing out.
No, she's too classy for that.
You know what I mean? So I'm just confused.
Exactly. But so the reason why I say that is because she came back afterwards and said, you know what? I did kind of come at him sideways.
Yes, right? She did.
And so she admitted that she did that. And I'm talking about the timing of which she did it. Like, yes, everything that she said was true, but she did it at a time when she felt like she was being attacked. So it was like, all right, well, let me give you something too. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that what she said wasn't correct. I'm not saying that wasn't her truth. I'm saying that the way she said it and at the time that she said it was more imperative than what she said. That's what
I just want to say something. I just brought the definition of lash out, and it's hit or kick out.
I'm gone, man. Bye, y'all. Bye.
So I love definitions.
Hit or kick out at someone or something, or spend money extravagantly, attack someone or something verbally. She laughed out after she was defeated by one vote. So I just wanted to put that out there so we have the definition and we can move forward from there. Right?
Context.
Thank you for that. That was cheeky.
Okay.
So got Webster.
So in the next scene, we have Paul meets Dakia, and he wants to clear the air about the things that. So that was great. Thank you, you guys. I'm not trying to be rude to you guys, but it's getting late, and because we're like I'm on like number 3. We have like 6 more.
Girl, you the host. Take the reins.
We got to move fast.
So Paul does meet Dakia because he wants to clear the air about the things that Carmen said about Dakia when they last met. Paul says that pretty much Carmen did throw a lot of shade, and Carmen does spin things or spins the truth. Paul says that Carmen has it out for Dakia ever since pretty much she got Eric eliminated. Paul states that Carmen is superficial and judgmental. Dakia's demeanor is very classy, and he does want to get to know Dakia more and wants her to meet his family. Do you guys have anything to say?
I didn't buy any of it. Talk about people playing the game at the end of the show. That's how I feel for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this relationship is forced. I don't really have too much to say. I mean, that's why I felt like the Sabrina and Donovan thing I knew was going to take up majority of our time because everyone else kind of just met the family. You know what I mean? And it was really, but
Dakia is not feeling him. I think she's doing the best she can and the right thing by showing up for the show on the contract that she has. Like, oh, okay, I'll meet your brother. Oh, you're really sweet. Oh, I feel friend vibes, but okay, I see you. I received that. She's 100%. Being a lady about it all and nothing more, nothing less. She's not being confusing. She's not promising him things. She's not like, maybe I'll just date PO now. Like, she seems very neutral and just here for the process. That's what I'm getting.
I like this brother's questions, though. I thought his questions were really.
His brother was
really good questions.
His brother was like PO 2.0.
Yeah, I was always Team Paul, and I just wished Paul was Paul from the beginning and not PO at all.
Think that would have been because
it's hard to tell now what is what for sure.
Right, because I feel like he really messed up some opportunities, man. He could have just been himself. He could have just been genuine from the beginning, and I think things would have worked out a whole lot better for him.
Agreed.
That's all.
Yeah. Kojo, do you have any thoughts on Paul and Dakia?
I think it's a bit forced in it, like you guys. So to be honest, I'm not really, Dakia's not on it. Like she knows she's not on it. But I think he's a nice guy. He's decent. You know what I mean? He's in the nice guy category, and you don't want to be in the nice guy category. You know what I mean? It's like you're nice.
Yeah.
But you're nice, but that's about it. Like I can't see further than that. And I think. Maybe she just wants to. I don't even say she wants to stay on the show. I wanted to say maybe she's just doing her obligation. She's doing what she must do.
Yeah.
Stay on the show. Do what she has to do for the remaining time. Meet the brother. It is what it is. Or maybe she might even be thinking maybe something might change. If maybe she might see him in a different light. But either way, baby, she ain't seeing her brother any differently than what he is to her, which is just he's a nice guy.
Yeah, and the nice guy thing doesn't really work because I feel like that's just put on as well. Like I want to see you.
I don't think
don't
paint
for me. Yeah,
I agree that.
Yeah,
he doesn't come. Yeah,
she admitted to it not being a normal process, so it just seems like she's trying, even if it is going to be Paul. And I mean that in the nicest way.
Sorry, what?
I mean that in the nicest way.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. It's funny you call him a nice guy. I don't really like. He's not what I consider a nice guy. PO just from the way he's moved.
No, I agree that. I hear you saying.
It's the act of it though. Like all of the catalog answers is he's nice. You can't say anything about him because he never came out of pocket, said anything wrong, gave an opinion, showed any vulnerability. He's just a nice guy.
Kind of thoughtless, mean things to people sometimes. Like I don't know. Yeah, PO is. I think he just got we heard somewhere that he got like a film or something, an acting job. That's awesome. Like he's doing well from the show. So, that's hopefully benefit him in that way. That's me being cheeky again, because that means he played the game right. So good. But yeah, I'm not so sure about PO. I couldn't stand for him, and I understand why this beautiful one right here did for him so hard. I don't trust him. I don't, there's something about him I don't trust. I wouldn't be able to trust him.
I hear you.
No arguments here.
Yes. Well, I hope they get it together. I hope that at the very end, which is next episode, that Paul and Dakia say, "You're a great person. You're a great person, but we're not each other's persons."
Yeah, totally.
It's really simple.
Yeah, that's what I hope. It's just. What were you about to say, Gus?
I would love to hear the guy's opinion of Dakia, because I think she's standout. I think she's incredible. What do you guys think about Dakia?
Dang, Jay, nothing. I thought you would speak first.
I like Dakia,
side?
but I like Dakia. Maybe it's not her crowd. I mean, I want to. Maybe this is not her crowd because. I think maybe not. Go on, Ty. Say it, because I don't want to be the bad guy. So
she's solid. You know what I mean? She's a solid, nice woman. I just feel like my fellas, like they're wolves. You know what I mean? And they would see her as that hopeless romantic. She would be the weak one in the crew, and she would just have a series of failed situationships. And I feel bad about that. So she needs to be stronger. You know what I mean? It took her 9 weeks just to even say something back to Carmen. You know, we would just peg her as the weak one. Nice girl.
You know what's interesting you say that?
Yeah.
Because to me, she's probably the strongest one on the cast because she's overcome and faced the most adversity. The fact that she's a cancer survivor makes her extremely strong. So it just it's such an interesting thing for me to hear you guys say that's how you would view her, when I view her so differently. I just see her as like someone that overcame death, that is a businesswoman on two ends, is kind, is thoughtful, successful. Like she just seems to be such a great package. And it breaks my heart that people would view her as the runt of the, I don't know.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah, she's
too nice.
There's just a certain I think what he's maybe trying to say, there's like a pizzazz that's not there a little bit. Like that thing. It's like more salt and pepper, which is like when you look at stocks, right? You want your blue chip stocks. She's a blue chip all day.
Yeah.
All day. All day. She's an Amazon, an Apple, you know what I mean? Like she's extremely intelligent, right? She's a freaking engineer for NASA.
Yeah.
And she owns a dance company. It doesn't get more sophisticated, got her stuff together and all that stuff. I think what Ty is saying is just like, but unfortunately, just like the Tories of the process, the not playing the game, finished last. The Kia, which is not a Tory, but also kind of like the nice girl, is finishing last because of the lack of, or what with the not the spice, right? The Sabrina did extremely well in this process until she didn't. But the Kia didn't. Is that what you're saying?
Weird to me.
And it's just so funny because Sabrina's not interested in any of the guys. So it's
but
this is
that's what we're saying. My lips were literally closed. Read my body language. I was like,
I saw you. I was like, Jay, nothing.
Because she's such a dope person, but like Ty said, like in this process, but the guy that was feeling her, no pun intended, Eric, he's not there.
Right.
But you guys,
go ahead. And Eric was moving mad anyway.
Felt about it, but the process for sure.
Nobody got that pun. Nobody got that pun.
Wait, say it again.
The guy that was.
I didn't hear you.
Stop it. Just stop it.
I got you.
Nobody. Not a
that was
person. Just told you.
I'm so sorry,
brother.
I was so concentrating on.
I'm
wasting great content here. Just wasting.
Go.
Yeah, for someone that's like mature, ready to really, really settle down. Yes, but that unfortunately, that's not where a lot of the people I know are. Yeah. In the show. Yeah.
That's why I watched the show. And then that's the funny part. It's like someone like her should be winning on the show. You would think, right? Like,
you would think.
Yeah,
you would think.
I mean, but
love and hip hop.
I think Jay kind of encapsulated quite right. We need a pizzazz. We need something to You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
she's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know a friend like this. A girl asked me the same question. She's a very beautiful girl, but she's just nice.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that a lot of us men are there's some wolves in us, man. And if you're too nice, it's like
You don't want to hurt her.
I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
you're almost too innocent. It's like I can't even be. Nah, man. Anything you know?
Right.
Nah, you know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, it makes it difficult to then want to go any further with that person.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you might go with sex, but you might not go in a relation with that person. Because again, as men, we're also looking for people that are going to give us a little bit of pushback, not crazy pushback, but a little bit of pushback. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm wilding, can you give me a little bit of pushback? Now it sounds mad, but we're looking for that inadvertently. If I see that you're too diplomatic, you classy, love that, but you're too diplomatic, it's like, yeah, she ain't gonna be giving me nothing back, bro. Like
there's a book called Why Men Love
Bitches.
Thank you.
Yeah. Paul did mention something that I noticed early when he said that he bets that Dakia would be totally different at home in private. Her corporate representative is just there all the time, and it seems like she can't turn it off.
Wasn't Clifton in the room?
Yeah, Clifton was. He said he was concerned about that.
She'd be on some hey, Zaddy.
Oh,
it's tough. It's tough.
Okay.
What are you saying, Jake? What are you saying? Why?
I don't know. It's they love to say men are so easy. It's not complicated. But it's like sometimes it's screaming, be my peace, need someone good, need this and that. But then it's like, I'm gonna act up, so I need that. It's just it's I understand a little sass and a little spice. Nobody likes to eat chicken with no flavor. You know what I mean? But it's just like, what is the fine line? Because then you get a Sabrina and that's too far. Now you got a Dakia and that's too far. So who meets y'all in the middle as far as someone you could actually date, who's going to give you the pushback that you need? And you not be intimidated by the wolf in you. So what animal is this? It ain't a kitty cat. It ain't what kind of animal y'all need? Well, who's in the middle of this?
Right.
Genuinely question. This season or last season? How about that? Let me give you options.
I'm a drink on that.
Do you know what's so interesting about that question?
Sabrina don't scare me at all.
Right. That's what I want to say.
I'm a drink instead.
I honestly think that question's an interesting question because I think men are pretty simple. The difference between men and women is we don't document what men want oftentimes. It's known we document what women want all the time. We hear conversations around it all the time, right? So when you rarely hear what men often say about women or what they feel about women, and it's not documented often, it looks complicated, right? For instance, okay, so the question asked about the Dakia situation, and I can see some people in the comments saying, what you don't want? You want this or you don't want that? But that's not how we are saying that people are going to extremes of either end. There is a fine blend. When you have a cocktail, I don't drink, but when you guys have a cocktail, right? When the cocktail's mixed very well, you enjoy. When it's not mixed very well and ingredients are a little bit higgy-hagga everywhere, it's a problem. The same thing with human beings. People want people that are going to blend the different qualities that you have very well. Number one. Number two, every person should know what their seduction route is, right? Some people it's intelligence. Some people it's sensual. Some people it's sexual. Some people know how to just be relative with people. They know how to just be around people. You got to know your seduction route. When I look at Dakia, there was an overproduction of sexual energy. And I was like, with that at the very beginning of the show, there was an overproduction of the sexual energy. And I was like, yeah, that's going to be a turn off for a guy. It's not perfectly blended very well. So she understands it, but she doesn't know how to blend it very well. There has to be a touch where, like if a guy comes to you now and he starts talking to you in a certain way and he says something, sexual to you, depending on how he blends, how he talks, you're going to be like, okay, cool. Another guy comes along and says it, you're like, oh my God, that's so cringe. Like, get away from me. Why? It's not blended very well. So I think the same thing happens with men and it happens with women too. We're looking for the blend. Unfortunately, it looks like Dakia hasn't got the blend quite right in this environment. Maybe with other guys, she might have got the blend quite right. But I feel like in this environment that we saw her in, the blend isn't quite right. And that's why the men have kind of stayed away from her, or at least made a second choice. That she's good, I ain't gonna go there, bro. You know, I think.
I understand that. Thanks for breaking it down, Kojo. Because I think the thing is so I interview men. I have a lot of hours where I interview men, because you're right. We hear so much from women. Man, y'all need to talk. And when you do, you know, your stuff is put on the table. I just think in this particular situation, the way I put it, people are polarized on this side, that side, because it's just what it sounds like here. But when you break it down to the blend, to the cocktail, I mean, I believe that's what we're all looking for. So that makes sense.
And to each, everyone has a different taste. So that's, you know, that blend is, like you said, Kojo, it's different for everybody. So, and exactly, she didn't have the blend and we said,
I get that.
On the jump, Jamie and I talk about the show, her person's not here, you know. She needs she just needs something that's not there, you know. But I think she blends really well, actually. I think she blends really well.
And there's also another part that we haven't talked about where I think she showed her attraction most towards Clifton and Automatic, and it was kind of one of those things like, oh, okay, like the other guys, and you know, Ty, you'll know this too, as far as from being on the season, and Sabrina, you've seen it happen on your season, where guys will be like, oh, okay, she really feeling dude. All right, well, let me pull it back.
Oh, it happened to me.
What?
Tyrone even did it to me.
She did that though with almost every single one of her dates. At the end of the date with Wiley, she was like, oh, I think I could probably feel Wiley. At the end of the date with Tori, she's like, oh, I think Tori.
Yeah, I remember you said
at the end of every single date. She's
saw her interact with Cliff though, and she was giving Cliff sexual energy. I didn't see her give the other guys that.
I think Clifton was giving it to her, and the other guys wasn't giving it to her.
And let's be real, Clifton, you know, a lot of women like Clifton. Okay.
Yeah, they were using the same blender though. You know, that's the whole thing. They were using the
that is true. Because nobody else was feeding her oysters but Clifton was.
I mean, the boy was doing a lot. Love him.
Yeah. Well, even Eric in the kitchen. Like, she showed up with the little swimsuit on, her little, you know, her sex appeal, and she was like, "What you cooking, deviled eggs?" And he was like, yup. Like, it was really no sexual nothing. And Clifton was like, "You want an oyster?" And she was you know, so I get it.
This is me being cheeky.
How did
I'm not being cheeky right now, by the way. I'm not trying to be cheeky right now when I say this, but that's why I think she's better with an older man like Clifton. Like, she's better with an older man, like a seasoned man, because she feels like she can be her seasoned, wonderful self probably there. She wouldn't do well in a wolf pack or with younger men. It just because they wouldn't be on the same page. Because she does, but because she's younger, but she reads older, right? Like, she's younger, but she reads older, right? So it's like,
she reads.
So she doesn't blend well.
That's the point. She doesn't blend well, bro.
When you say blend, I understand. Like, some of the stuff that, you know, I guess was said sounded like maybe she was trying to keep up or put an energy out there. Like, I get it. It just. And it's not, there's nothing wrong with her, because I love Dakia. I would think that that's something that a man would trust, to be loyal, to raise his kids, to be a pillar for him, and all of these things. But I guess I'm only trying to understand. I'm willing to understand. So I can see why you say that, although I don't find an issue with it. But I don't date women, so what do I know? I don't know nothing about, you know what I mean?
As a man that has dated women.
Right. There you go. I'll take your word for it. You know?
Kojo's explanation, like, you can't say it any better than that. But I'm laughing at one of the comments. I just looked at the comments. And somebody, Jackie T, said, Dakia came looking for a filet mignon at the Rib Shack.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Shots fired.
Done.
Wow.
That's messed up. So
anyway. Wait, Joy's lashing out was too much? That's not the kind of spice y'all want? Is that blend or no?
I'm not saying it was too much. I'm just saying the reason why she said what she said is because she felt like he was coming at her. And so she said that in return. It's absolutely how she felt. But usually when you get all right, well, you know, men have something to say about you, blah, blah, then like, for example, with Laverne, he was supposed to sit there and take that, right? He was supposed to sit there and take that. You know, that's part of the show. She didn't at that time. And then later on, she was like, you know what? I did that. I meant what I said. I said what I said, but it was the wrong time. That's all. So Joy is solid. You know,
solid.
She did that too, though. And I don't like that you said it when Sabrina, she was like, you whatever you did, you were like, I came in to kill and I actually killed him, and you didn't take. You were like, you
she
owned
killed
it.
the
That was the
messenger or
best
something
part
like
of it.
that.
Yeah, like good.
Who
That's
was
what it
that
should
that
have
you did that with?
Frank.
Frank. And I said it on my review, baby. Okay, I get to 100.
But Frank was blowing smoke up my ass.
But see,
Hey, I still called her.
I did it.
Sabrina knows I already called her out. I said, well, she lashed out her Frank too. I
Did
said,
Frank hit you with a banana in a tailpipe? Is that what happened?
Frank was full of a sugar honey iced tea. And he came there and was talking out the side of his neck. And that's why I was like, I'm mad because you're not keeping it 100. That's why I have a problem. And he wasn't, but that's not, we're not talking. Okay, so are we finished with Paul? And
it turns out he wasn't keeping it 100 the whole time.
Keep it blended, guys. Keep it blended.
And still wasn't keeping it 100. So it is what it is.
Keep it blended.
I don't like people playing games.
But it sounds like it's a lot of games. It's hard. It sounds like it's a lot of games.
Yeah,
I'm just glad I'm not. Exactly.
And this is the type of energy and things. This is why sometimes I try to listen when women talk about the way they play men. I can't even be mad because if so many people are just seeing it as a game, I'm like, you wonder why some, not all of the dating world is in the condition it is, because it's like, I'm finna get this money. I'm finna get something from this fool because he playing, I'm playing. So let's see who play. It just feels like chaos. But
too much good will get you killed out here. You have to understand. Even the Bible says too much righteousness is a problem. Look, you have to understand. This life, if you're too good, you're gonna end up dead. You have to be wise enough to be able to understand that the world is not perfect, and there were good people, there are bad people, there are ugly people. Balance. And so when you're in dating, it doesn't serve you to be naive. It doesn't serve you. You know, you should be good.
Naive.
But you can't be naive. You have to be able to be aware, because, like I said, that's why I said I asked why the men fell for Sabrina. Because as much as I think Sabrina's playing a game, y'all should have seen that she was playing a game. If you know what you really want in somebody,
100%.
I'm gonna see Sabrina from a mile away. I'm like, girl, I know you're playing.
Like Tyrone
you're
did.
Distance.
Yeah.
Like Tyrone did. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Tyrone early. Yeah.
The men have got a problem 100%. Too. If they're falling for people like Sabrina, they've got an issue. Because they're going after 100%. People that are not ready to love them in that sense.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah.
100%.
All right, so moving on. So Donovan and his mom is meeting Carmen, and Carmen brings his mom some flowers, brings Donovan some flowers. Carmen does talk about being a single mom and bonds with Donovan's mom. Donovan says his mom really likes Carmen, and Carmen thinks and feels that Donovan mom's really likes her too. Did I add an S? Too many S's. And
we feel you.
The mom says that Carmen is a winner, and Donovan and Carmen kiss as she leaves the scene.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Yes.
That's what she said. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what she said.
End quote.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about Donovan and Carmen's connection? Because I personally feel like it's not real. I feel like there's a lot of sexual chemistry. I feel like that they have that connection, but when it comes to like Joy and like a Clifton's connection, I don't really see that. I see that this is a very convenient situation. I feel like both of them was like, you try to make it to the end? Yeah, I'm trying to make it to the end. You trying to make it to the end? I mean, you fine. You look good and everything. I mean, you cute too. You got a fat ass. Okay, well, let's make it to the end. All right, well,
meet you in the jacuzzi.
That's where I'm getting. That's what I'm getting from this whole situation. You know. So, what are you guys' thoughts on it?
I mean, you really nailed it.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I think why he actually can do this with her is because the way she handled his mom. Like, he has a mom. I have a mom, so I know when you have a mom. She was able to handle his mom, and I think that to him, that's even more reason to be like, this is fun and easy, right? So, I don't know.
The wild horse that can't be tamed. Those were his words.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like they're both emotionally mature enough to like give it a valiant try, right? Yeah. I was actually looking forward to the moms coming because you can't hide from moms, right? Moms is gonna tell. She gonna tell on you without trying on without trying to tell on you. Like, she wants the best for you. She's gonna end up telling on you. And
Don't ruin it.
yes, and she revealed some things that Donovan couldn't hide from.
So, but honestly,
I heard all of that. I was like, oh, yo, mama put you on blast, Donovan.
Yes.
I have questions.
But you know what, Tyrone, to piggyback off of what you just said, it's kind of, that's just kind of weird to me, because I'm gonna keep it 100. I feel like that the Carmen that showed up to meet the mom wasn't Carmen.
Oh, correct. But
you're supposed to.
Yeah,
that's you're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
I would not want blue-eyed baby Jesus to meet my mom either.
Blue-eyed booby baby Jesus with the tight everything.
You know what I mean?
She had on a cardigan. She brought flowers, like
bang bang.
Speaking of game players, Carmen's a game player. She knows how to play.
Yeah.
She's literally a boss. It's fun. Now, see, I don't have fun. It's not fun for me to watch Sabrina play the game, but maybe it's because I don't like watching, like, I don't know. Carmen plays like a grown ass woman boss plays the game, and I think that's entertaining as fuck. I love watching it.
What's your face down there, Kojo?
I don't think Carmen plays a boss game at all. I think she's a villain, just like Sabrina. Because she doesn't just play. She's not just like necessarily playing the men. Her whole objective is women. That's even worse for me. I'm like, look, you don't even get on with the women. Like, bro, if I'm choosing a partner, I'm like, Carmen, I'm staying away from you. I'm so sorry. Because the way you coming at other women, I'm like, what are you doing, babe?
But didn't she just come at Dakia like that?
It's only go at who you know you can go at. Though.
And y'all just said,
and
Dakia
for me,
and
I'm saying, okay, maybe I should say, for me personally, if I see that you are as well intentionally trying to pick on someone, I don't like that energy. For me, that's bully energy. If I know I can take you on, Tyrone, right, and I intentionally come at you every single time, better man. You ain't really, you're my competition, but I don't need to keep coming at you in this particular way, throwing shade at you. I don't need to do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, I know because you won't respond, I'm going to keep doing that. That's a bully. And for me, I don't rock with that kind of energy. I can't be called that energy. But in terms of obviously the mom and her, I said this on my review. The mom and her are similar. That's why they get on. Because the mom recognizes the same energy she has in Carmen.
Exactly.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that's why the two of them are just vibes in. And Donovan senses a familiar energy in Carmen because that's got his mom. So of course he's gonna like Carmen in some shape or form. You know what I mean? May not want to all the way, but definitely there's gonna be some attraction there for him because he recognizes the same energy. But Carmen, the way she was going on, it was bullyish, man. Like coming after Tequila, the way you coming after. Play the game, you have a competition, but you ain't gonna be talking about people. Like, it's not.
But that's the hard part, right? Because first of all, we said exactly the same thing you said on our review too about the Carmen and the mom situation. Like that was so. It's like duh, right? Yeah. It was fun to see. I actually enjoyed it. I was like,
I agree.
I
I
them
agree.
both a little more. I just want to be clear for the people listening. When I say Carmen's a boss, literally she's a boss. That's what I mean. She's literally a boss, right? So that's what I mean by that. I still don't know if she. And I guess we'll find out at the reunion. I don't know these people, but I don't know if she's just really good at playing the game and being okay being the villain or not. Sabrina doesn't feel like she's playing the game and being like, so this is what I mean. Like I could see production being like, hey, can you do this? And Carmen being like, sure, I'll be the villain. I'll say it. I'll do this. Just having fun playing it. Sabrina, it's a different kind of situation, if that makes sense, in my eyes. But bullying or either of them is not right. We've all been bullied. It sucks. Yeah, you know.
I think she can really read people. She keeps it real. She does have that military background, right? Yep. So we don't really know how to sugarcoat stuff. And if we see a weak person, like, and I know it's gonna sound bad, but it's almost like we're being mean to you because we want you to be tougher.
Totally.
But that's not the
I'm a big sister.
And she gonna be mean. Yeah. She gonna be mean to the wrong person.
But it's only
Sabrina.
It's because you recognize
person. You gonna get a shoe thrown at you quick.
But you recognize who the weak one is, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. But the thing is,
you guys are saying Dakia was the weak one, so it makes sense that she would go that one. Yeah.
I think that says a lot about the person, though, yourself as well. If you're picking on someone who's weaker than you and you know they're weaker than you, that says a lot more about you than it does about the other person. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. That's not nice. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why is she continuously doing that? Look, it could be sugarcoated as nice as everything that you want the person to be strong. That's not the truth. Look, if I keep picking on someone who's weaker than me, it's not because come on, I want you to be strong. No. You doing what you want to do because you like the power you have over that person. Keep it a buck. It's a dark truth. And that's okay. In real life, we all do these things. So I'm not trying to exclude myself. We all have those moments where you know you decide somebody and you know you can get away with it. So you did it, right? but
Will
this
Smith.
consistent going after her is it's consistent going after her is problematic for me. And so I'm looking at Donovan like, okay, so is this the kind of girl you want to go for? If this is the kind of girl you go, I gotta look at you some way. Because bro, listen, that's the kind of girl that when you bring around the other wives, she'll be saying something about the other wives. That's a problem with other men.
That's how Sabrina is, though. Sabrina
said that to Donovan, remember? Or Carmen, Dakia said that to Paul. She was like, because if that's the kind of woman that you're going to be interested in, then I'm not the woman for you. Yeah, she sure did, Kojo, just to...
I feel like she knows how to keep it professional publicly. In Carmen's defense, like it seems like all the bad stuff she was saying was in the confessionals, which is a different environment. She ain't say she rarely said any of that in front of Dakia.
So you think it, and that's how you think.
Say that again.
It's still problematic. That's how you think. She may not say it to the person, but that's how you think.
True.
Yeah.
So that's going to come out in your behavior.
Was feeding her though. So if you a lot of you guys watch reality show, production feeds you things to say to create more drama. They need more drama, and she might be the one that's more willing to do it and say it.
Then that's still talking about how. Okay, so that still relates to your behavior because you're willing to go that far to do that. That talks about you as a character, as your behavior wise. Because you had a choice.
Yeah.
So she'll mind that.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
I mean, if she wasn't booked as the villain, yes, she does have a choice. If she was booked as the villain, she don't have a choice. So yeah.
My first thoughts on Carmen was, oh, she is for the shits, and I am here, and I am here for it.
We know you.
Yeah, you are.
Let me get a whole bunch of popcorn from Amazon because this season's gonna be good, right?
Right. Oh god.
Anyone else think that Carmen should be on the Real Housewives of Potomac? I think she'd be so good on that show.
Yeah, that'd be perfect for her.
The shade would be absolutely amazing.
Yes,
so good.
Exactly.
So good.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, Donovan just got to get on the thing, and it should be good to go.
So next up, we have Demetrius and Sabrina meet.
Wait, can I real quick? Did y'all already talk about her attire when she met his mom?
Yeah, we breezed over it, but what you got?
Yeah.
Man, look, she came in there looking like a librarian.
She had a cardigan, yo. She had a cardigan.
She's doing it. She's playing it right. She don't need the titties to be interested. And she knows
Mom don't need titties.
She don't need titties, but the men do.
Exactly. Right. Get your cardigans out, ladies. Get your cardigans out.
Which tells you like she knows when to play the part and when not to, right?
She's smart.
When it's competition with another woman and okay, well, you don't have it, I got it. Let me put mine out there so that way because the men's gonna look, right? Whether it's bought or not. What did the Kia say? She's like, well, bought and paid for is better than whatever the case is, right? But it was just one of those things where I was like, oh, okay, she no contacts. No girl saying no.
Yeah, she normally wears this powerful chain. Right. None of that either.
Not in front of mama. Powerful girl, bye.
She was giving me librarian vibes,
Like, church. Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Somebody called her Auntie Carmen.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even doing her reads.
I didn't know if y'all talked about it. Like that was one of the biggest shockers. And I was okay.
The flowers, come on, Carmen.
Right, Carmen. Looking very matronish. You know what I'm saying? Like she just made some butter or something.
Yeah. Took off the apron and got ready for the
date. She went and bought She went and got what's the cologne? The stuff from Bed Bath and Beyond, and just put some little spritzer on. She didn't even have it. All right, we just had to talk about that. Go ahead. I've been waiting for that moment. Like, Lord.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Demetrius and Sabrina meet up, and she wants to discuss where she stands with him. She has some concerns and wants to address them. One, she's pretty much saying that she isn't interested in taking her husband's last name. She did not change her last name in her first marriage, and Demetrius pretty much tells her that he would, he would like for her to meet his family, and she declines the offer. So I just summed it up. So Sabrina and Demetrius.
I took notes. I took copious notes.
Would you like to go? Because you did take a lot of notes.
I want to hear it.
Me too.
I mean, there were some things that kind of that got to me a little bit. So after watching it the first time, I was like, man, like I've seen this type of energy for some of the fellas that I know, and it doesn't normally end well, right? When I see the energy that he gives her, it gives like, I gotta say it, like it kind of gives borderline emotional abuse, kind of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't really like give her a chance to talk. Like he doesn't hear her out. It just seems like he's just not there. And I don't know the underlying reason for why he doesn't have the patience to hear her out, but it was like there all the time. Even some of the things that he says that he was upset about, like the conversation with Tommy, he brought that up, right? She didn't bring that up. He brought up the conversation with Tommy again. So she was just explaining it. I ended up watching it over and over and over again. So it seems like the thing that she was saying wasn't really bad at all, you know? And it also seemed like the things that he was saying didn't sound as bad the second and third time that I heard it. And I just feel like when he says things like they need to move forward, they need to rebuild, this one I was like, what? Like, what did we miss that they need to fix? Do you know what I mean? And then it made it seem like he messed something up and he's trying to move forward, but she had already reached the point of no return and is not willing to accept it right now.
Play on, play yet. That's how you do it. You make someone else feel guilty when it was you. Play on.
Yeah. That's all I got.
I mean, Demetrius was just a no for me pretty much from the gate. So I don't know. I don't even understand how. I don't know. I don't even really know what to say. That's the thing. I mean, Sabrina knew. She keeps bringing up the same things with him and they keep having the same conversations because it's like, it's been a no. Like in real dating world, I'm not texting back. I'm not answering. Like you're already done. So I just feel like this is the whole part of the process things. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that she didn't choose him, but they had a moment at the pool party. Cute, fun. That's it. Like, I don't really have much to say about it. It just, So I can't really get into this. I don't know. I don't understand. There's nothing there.
Kojo, what you got, man? I feel like the arms aren't folded, but it's there. I see it.
I was just trying to make sure. I was like, Ty, what are we talking about here? I was like,
I feel like
I need to explain it so I can get it. Yeah.
No, I feel like sometimes you develop a bias towards someone and then you stop hearing them out. You know what I mean? And then I just started listening to it like with the captions on. So it takes the feeling and the emotion out of it. And I'm actually listening and hearing what she's actually saying compared to what he's actually saying. And then it just comes off different.
It's very mismatched. His phone died.
Go on, Jay.
I look like I'm in pain, right?
It's like you have this idea of Sabrina. You just want to focus on that, and there's nothing's going to move you from that. No matter what she does or what she says, you already have your thoughts on her, you know?
All right. I'm going to just go ahead and say it. I feel like Demetrius at this point is just like, let's just go ahead and finish it up. Like, I feel like he was like Walter right before the bridge. Like, you tripping? It's just me left. What you tripping for? Like, we there now. This is the time when you commit. Why are you pulling back? And I feel like that was the true to Sabrina, the namesake, leave him on the bridge moment. You know what I'm saying?
But it was still giving.
You know, how am I getting no reaction out of you? Pay attention. Hello.
Yeah, but it was still giving. I'm Demetrius. You kissed me in the ear weeks ago. Therefore, I don't have to try.
Yeah, it's like he hadn't tuned in to the updated information that was coming across. Like he had slow signal, so it was kind of like one of the things like what's a cell phone provider where they miss a very important part of the conversation, and the person's like, "Yeah, we still no,
Yeah, like
get
he's
the
there
rest
by
of the message."
default. Yeah.
It was not a pajama party. Like you showed up in pajamas, right? And I feel like that's Demetrius. Like he just the last part of the message, he just had bad cell phone signal, and he was still on. Well, you kissed me on the ear, so we're good now. I'm ready, and it was too late. She had already been moved on. I don't think she gives guys a lot of time. Like you got one, maybe two little ends, and she's gone.
I think that's how it should be.
She gave him to the retreat. And even at the retreat, he was still saying, I'm going to show you something once we leave here. You know, what is that?
Right.
She gave him plenty of time.
I mean, listen, I don't dispute that. I just got stumped to the part where he said it could be emotional abuse. I was like, wait, what? But that's why I got stumped up. But I'm
not trying to insinuate nothing.
Yeah, no.
I understood where you were coming from with that, Ty.
I think with Demetrius and Sabrina, personally, you know what? I personally didn't agree with everything that Sabrina said, but that's me personally. And like, if I was dating Sabrina, this is what I wouldn't agree with. But in regards to the actual discussion, she laid out what she felt this is what she felt, right? Number one, first of all, if you don't come meet my parents, we're done. It's done. I don't need to go. I don't need to pursue this anymore. I'd have been out the window already. Yeah, I'm gone.
Yes.
Yeah. So none of that chat after would have been. As soon as she was doing the little okay, let's leave it as is, because obviously clearly you're not convinced, and that's fine. We can go our separate ways. So that was number one. I was looking at Demetrius some type of way. Number two, Demetrius actually said, you know what? He should have listened to what the people had been telling him about Sabrina. That's number two, which means, sir, you already had prior warning to how she was. C'est la vie. Number three, okay, I personally think that Demetrius didn't really give much. From what we saw with the cameras were struggling to pick out something from Demetrius. Demetrius, what did you give? Because right now you came bearing empty gifts. That's what it felt like. So I'm even asking myself, Demetrius, what were you given? Right. So aside of Sabrina saying she ain't gonna submit whatever, she gonna not change her name, you know what I mean? If that's and what I started seeing about Demetrius, I said, is he a chameleon or is he a worshiper? Because either one don't look good. And I say chameleon because anything she was suggesting, he's like, well, we can just have a conversation and we can just have I'm like, this doesn't need a conversation. I don't agree, and we ain't gonna. This is an impasse. So that's as a man, especially. You have your hard yeses or nos, and when you don't, you're either a chameleon or you're a worshiper, and both of them end badly because a chameleon just changes its color for whatever situation, but it's never going to be really happy, right? And end up blowing up in your face. And if you're a worshiper, you just do whatever the woman says, and then you blow up in her face again because she doesn't do what you want her to do in the end. So even one don't look good, because when I'm getting back to the lounge and I'm hearing Demetrius literally tell Tommy that he said he invited Sabrina to face the family, and she was doing and then you was like, well, I kind of understand. I'm like, what did you understand? Yes. Because at this point, even Paul is like, what the heck?
What? Yes.
What? If Paul is telling you what the heck, you need to be asking serious questions. Do you know what I mean? So I'm looking at it and I'm like, so what were you really trying to achieve? And I think that's what Jay, what you kind of mentioned as well, that maybe he was trying to go to the end. Maybe he's like, look, we've reached this far. Let's go to the end. Because he did say it, kind of towards the end. He kind of glamorized at the end by saying, well, we're not going to leave together, but we're both going to leave the process at the same time. Bro, why are we glamorizing that, bro? She just basically rejected you. You don't need to glamorize it, bro. She's basically saying no to any particular thing that you're offering. And that's okay. Just know that this is an impasse for you. I don't know what's an impasse for Demetrius anymore. Is it the submission? Is it the fact that she won't change her name? Is it the fact that, bro, like, she ain't gonna meet the family? What is it that Demetrius does not find it to be appropriate for him? Because at the moment it looks like you're open to everything, and that for me is generous. Go for it, Jane.
He's not keeping it real. That's all. When your foundation isn't based in anything, you either go with the wind or you're this. You can't tell. It's very ambiguous because he doesn't really. His foundation just seems so false. Whatever it is, it's just fake. So I never really expected to see anything from him because He didn't give anything from the beginning. He didn't give anything in the middle. And he damn sure didn't give anything at the end because he wasn't rooted or anchored in anything. If you ask me, from looking at him, and then it's like part of me thinks like, okay, well, were you trying to also prove that you don't need somebody submissive, so you became that? Like, I'm just confused because it just doesn't feel, nothing about it feels real. It wasn't rooted in anything. So I'm not surprised that we're all confused and don't know who he is or what he's got going on.
I mean, hell, he didn't show up until episode 4.
Yeah, I mean, he was getting bad vibes not only from Sabrina. I mean, even Tina was like, "You didn't even talk to me, you know, at all at the little brunch thing." And then even towards the end, he was saying, "I'm not gonna give 100% if you're not gonna give 100%." And I'm like, "Bro, like, why? What did we do?" And it kind of does a disservice to people who actually want to be vulnerable and give it a shot, right? Yeah.
But this is why, too, in my opinion, when it comes to dating, you know, some people can date multiple people, some people you can't. But if you don't put your stake in the ground at some point, it's always going to be like energy and I'm over here and I don't know and I like this, but I like that. Like at some point, you got to put some stake in the ground and commit somewhere, even if it's not marriage, but you got to commit, because that commitment is really for yourself. So you can actually see if you're dealing with some people, and when your energy is scattered and, you know, it doesn't work. And, you know, it doesn't, the only people that really seem to put their stake in the ground is Clifton and Joy, even though Clifton gave the little sound bites of Joy is my top, Joy is my top, Joy is my type. But, you know, we'll see about Dakia. It was a side note. Like, it was just so obvious, you know, so they put their stake in the ground. And that's why, you know, you go on his stories and he's in Mexico. Like, enjoy. This is what it's about, you know?
Well, yes, he was in Mexico, people. He was in Mexico. So does anyone have anything else to say about Demetrius and Sabrina? Because this was just the meetup where they talk. This isn't even the meetup where he like, yeah, I'm good, she good, we good, yeah. So
this was the breakup, right?
No, this was them just meeting up. And he was asking her like, hey, like, I want you to come meet my my, you know, family.
Okay,
yeah, that's all this was. And she was like, no. And he was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then they were saying that, you know, they were just going to move forward and see where it goes, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
That's a first ever on Ready to Love history where somebody was like, nah, I don't want to meet your parents.
Yeah.
First ever. Even Dakia met Paul's brother.
Right.
And they had zero love interest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From what we saw. So for her to be like, nah, I don't even want to meet whoever your family member is.
Because they feel like
I don't care whether they flew in or not. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
There was a comment that did get to me when she says, my heart still swells for him, but she feels like they're still scrambling to make up for lost time. And I was like,
yeah, because he ain't show up.
What the hell y'all talking about?
I'm so confused.
What does that even mean?
What does that mean? I'm confused.
Yeah.
I'm very confused.
I just feel like there were so many different signs that she's just gave off that she's not, and this is no diss to her, that she was not emotionally available. One of those, I don't care who your family is that flew in. And he was like asking her, so I had some family that flew in. Would you want to, like, they're here.
She was trying to be over it. She was trying to do whatever she needed to do to self-sabotage the situation, just like Tina did, because she was already mentally done and over with the process, and she was trying to figure out her exit. And she like, well, if I do this, they might let me off the show, and if I do that, I might be off the show, and if I do that, and that, yeah, I might be good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's how at this point, that's how I felt about Tina. I felt like Tina mentally tapped out, and she was like, yeah, I just ain't gonna show up. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how I feel like Sabrina is right now, too, at this point.
Season, the cast was acting up. Yeah. I mean, no protocol, just left Tommy sitting there calling folks. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Honey, Tommy was calling his other phone. He wasn't
I can question that. I was like, they're not gonna have Tommy out here wasting his time because
Yeah, not Tommy.
How much you disrespect this process, you're not gonna disrespect Tommy on this shit.
Not gonna disrespect Tommy.
We just all wouldn't do it.
But you know what? Production was probably, because guess what? We got a check, so do Tommy. And they probably told Tommy, you're going to have to sit here and record this because we need an exit for Tina. Period.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we all work and stop it. You know what I'm saying? But, it is what it is. And for real, it was probably a time when he had to go to the men's lounge. And they were like, before we go to the men's lounge, we want you to come over here out of water and act like you're waiting for Tina. Like, we just never know. We don't know. But that's just my take on it. Who am I? Anywho, does anyone have anything else to say about Demetrius and Sabrina? All right, moving forward. So Helen, who is Paul's brother, meets Dakia, and she pretty much comes in. She gives hugs. She shakes his hand. She explains who she is. She sits down. She's talking about like I'm this for NASA. I do the ballet. And she's ready to settle down. She talks about how she leads all day. She wants to finally be in a situation where she can just chill and kick her shoes off and relax because she is that woman all day because of her job profession. Paul explains, and his brother talks about him and someone taking advantage of him. Paul's like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And he explains how he stayed too long in his marriage. His brother doesn't want Paul to get burned again. Dakia says that he's trying to figure out if this is natural or if this is forced with her and Paul. Kellen, she leaves. Kellen, the brother, says that Dakia seems scripted. And Paul is hoping that Dakia can become more vulnerable in the future. So
there's nothing to be vulnerable about. I mean, she's giving him they're friends. She said it's a friendship vibe, like you said, not trying to force. And there's just a certain level of what are we doing? I have nothing to
Tyrone looked like he about to burst.
Because it's just crazy. What are we talking about? This is why at the beginning when you asked about the show overall, this is just so fake. It's so contrived. I can't even give you anything because it's what am I looking at here? What vulnerabilities you finna give? Okay, go ahead, Tyrone, because I just...
All things considered, I think it kind of went well. And I mean this in the nicest way. But
first of all, dog, you got to start it off like that.
I know.
If you're Paul's brother and he brought you Dakia, right?
Enough said.
I would think she's amazing too. Boom. I said it. She's amazing. She is amazing. And that's what his brother said. It went just like I thought it would go. If my brother was there, it probably wouldn't have been that nice to me. But, in that moment, we know we're on TV. That's how it's going to go when my brother's on.
I did like how Kellen... I like how P.O. did kind of stick up for Dakia's character a little bit because Kellen was like, oh, her answers seem very textbook. But he was also he doesn't understand Dakia and her demeanor. And I kind of found that to be valid. I didn't think I thought her answers were, sounded a certain way, but it's also just who she is and who she's presented herself to be this whole time. So it made sense to me.
Was that representative? Is that a representative, you mean?
Because
didn't she have the same? Didn't Clifton's persons also said something similar about Dakia, about her answers?
Mm-hmm.
That her answers seem to be well scripted, and maybe that's also coming off in her behavior too. That she's well scripted.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And maybe that's too. So yeah, I mean, I didn't expect her to be vulnerable with Paul. But maybe she's just very textbook in the way she answers things. I mean, if you work for NASA, boy, you know what I mean? You gotta watch how you move. But I think listen, I said it within Paul choosing Dakia is for the greater good. Okay, all right, because he was going to choose Carmen in his gigolo state. Listen, choosing Dakia is it's a good uptake, I would say. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with Carmen, but I think Dakia is a good uptake. And he'd be blessed to have someone like that. But as far as she's concerned, this is a friendship vibe. She's doing obligations for the show. She's meeting the family. She's doing what Sabrina would not do. Okay, and going and doing the niceties. Okay, all right, because that's how Dakia is. She will do the nicety stuff. But yeah, I mean, to be honest. We just need to free Dakia from that place, baby. Okay, Dakia, we need to free you. All right, the obligations are done.
What'd you say?
Obligations are done.
Yeah, I agree.
There's only one episode left.
I feel like she did the right thing, and I feel like Sabrina could have done the same thing. Just go through the process. Right. Because she didn't like it when Laverne didn't want to go through the process. Right. So
that is a good point.
Right now that you have the option, why is it okay for you to say no? I'm not going to go through the process, and she could have done it just how Dakia did it, right? Like there's no hierarchy of, well, I'm too important to go through this process, so I'm just going to bounce. I'm sure at this point Dakia didn't want to necessarily go like, why am I going to this date? Okay, all right, this is what we need to do. Okay, cool, I'll do it. Right, just honor the process.
Yeah,
and I think everybody for the most part does that. I just don't understand why people don't.
Yeah. I hear you, bro.
Yeah, agreed.
I hear you. That's a lot. That's a good point.
That's all I'm saying. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
All right. Does anyone have anything else to say about Paul, his brother, and Dakia? So moving forward, the men meet for the last time at the Gentleman's Lounge. I am so mad about these pictures. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all know I pride myself in them pictures. Okay. The men, they go around, they discuss their connections. Tommy says that, he's watching Paul because Tommy was trying to figure out, like, where Paul and Dakia come from. Like, what's going on? So he said he watching Paul. That he was rooting for Clifton and Joy. Demetrius explains that Sabrina wasn't interested in meeting his family, and Tommy wants them to go and find out. So everybody goes through the room and talks about like their connections, like, oh, I met my mom, et cetera, et cetera. But Demetrius explains that Sabrina wasn't interested in meeting his family, and Tommy wants them to go out again to find out exactly where they are. So Demetrius meets Sabrina. And Demetrius mentions that he met with Tommy to Sabrina and explains to her, or he explained to her that he told him that she didn't want to meet the family. And she pretty much cuts him off. And she says that they have an emotional disconnect, that it is holding both of them back. And she says that he is a good person, but he isn't her person. Oh my God, I cannot read tonight, y'all. But did y'all get that?
You did that?
Yeah.
I think it's the pictures. The pictures. I don't have my pictures.
I started to come on. I come for the screenshots.
Stop, Jay. You just made me feel bad even more. I worked so hard on those screenshots, and my computer is not showing them.
It's all good. We all love you. Screenshot or no, we here for you. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
We're all soulmates.
Soulmates. Yes. So what do you? Okay, so my take on it, real quick. I try to just give mine real quick. I feel like that Sabrina pretty much self-eliminated because she thought, as soon as Demetrius was like, well, I went and talked to Tommy and we talked to Tommy, she was like, squirt, before you eliminate my ass, I'm going to self-eliminate. Okay. That's exactly what I got from it, because it was like she came in, she was like, hey, boo, hey, like everything is good. Like, let me get my water, and he got his drink, and we talking. We gonna try to figure things out. Soon as he said, well, me and the guys, we met with Tommy, she was like, skirt. She was like, well, I've been thinking, and I just really don't know. I don't think this is gonna work. Okay, so that's what I got from it. I felt like that if she would have just a bit patient and really heard him out, I don't think that she would have left the process. And I mean, even when he was trying to give her a chance to like reel it back in, she was like, yeah, I'm good. And I think she felt like, am I being set up? Because at the end of the day, I think that she thought, even though he said that, he's still going to tell me I'm not ready to love. So I want to leave the process before he tells me that. That's just my take on it. I could be wrong. I mean, don't all speak at me.
I mean, that's an interesting take, and you've been on the show, so I wouldn't have known to like throw, or I wouldn't have thought of that to throw it in there to eliminate before, you know, her eliminating herself before maybe he got a chance to say, and if she would have heard him out, blah, blah, blah. So you might be right. It kind of goes back to what Kojo was saying about that game plan. Who's going to be on the, you know, slaughter first? Like, and she just, whether she beat him to the punch or not, she beat him to the punch. But it was a conversation long overdue. What she said, what he sees as a challenge, she sees as a sign. I don't think she's been into it for a really long time, and that's it. She to me treats you know, she to me just treats these guys like guys that she don't want. I'd be really interested to see how she acts with a man that like really actually does it for her. Who is that? You know, I don't know. This is how women, I feel like, treat men that you just, I don't know, go, stay, whatever. I don't see anything here. Bye.
Yeah, she lost interest a while back. Like each one of them, you know, didn't check a box that she needs checked. A lot of it is just emotional availability on every level, you know, from the, I ain't changing my last name because I ain't following you like that. I ain't, you know, I'm not submitting to you at all. I'm not following you like that. I'm not, you know, there's a lot of I ain'ts in the process. And you're like that with guys that you're not feeling, right? And that one dude is like, yeah, you're gonna need to change your last name. You're like, okay, Zaddy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The energy depends.
Happy to, right? You know?
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I'm with you.
I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try my best to explain.
Come on,
because I took some good notes.
Go
So
ahead.
the first thing, I think they was being messy, right? You watch it, the lyrics to the song that was playing was "Can't keep feeling loving with somebody."
Ooh.
I caught that. The
You
lyrics.
did? Yes.
Yes.
I caught that too. So when he walks in, he was talking about like he don't know what's gonna happen, right? And I'm like, why would he even think that? I feel like he had a good date, other than the fact that she previously just said she didn't want to meet the parents or whatever. But I was like, I think he knows. That's the note that I left. Then I also left a note like Sabrina seems checked out already, because in the last scene, that was the last time we saw her smile. She didn't smile with Donovan. She didn't smile with none of the two previous scenes. She barely even smiled at the retreat. But when she gave Demetrius that hug, right, the smile was there again. She mentioned that the father didn't want to meet boyfriends. I'm okay with that because even my mom is like, Ty, don't even introduce me till 6 months after the wedding because I can't take it no more. The way that you be doing these things, I start to care. They ain't there no more. 2-3 months later, I can't do it no more. So I'm all right with that. She mentioned some fundamental differences that she can't overlook, and the dynamics aren't good, and that's why she needed to remove herself. And then there was another point about he was saying during the process he got blinded by people saying things, but when he saw a certain thing, he didn't pay attention and he overlooked it. And we need to go, and we need to do this something moving forward. So it made me think, like, what is going on that we aren't seeing, right? Well, it seems like the truth is finally coming out about things that they didn't see earlier. So that's what made me say earlier that I feel like there's some things that are coming out that they were unaware of, but the things that came out led them to the point of no return. And now they're going to just do bang, bang before anyone else can get it out. Boom.
I think, well, I'm not going to say because I don't know, but I did on my last show have Tori on the show. And when you say that, Ty, I kind of think possibly something that could have come out is now all of the guys that were talking to Sabrina, they had a conversation, which they hadn't had before. So now they're looking at their phones and text messages and comments made. And it's like, oh, that looked like what I got. Like,
yeah.
So they were able to compare notes. And I think that changed some things.
And keep in mind, everyone could still be talking to everyone. Show or no show. Just gonna put that out there.
Listen, you know what? And that's why I gotta give Sabrina some little bit of praise, because the girl played the game beautifully. I mean, I don't like everything she did, but look, what she did is what happens usually with the women, right? The women end up talking about the man who was messaging everybody. This time it's Sabrina having all these men on the ropes that they couldn't, that they had to have a conversation towards the end. And probably, I think personally what happened was every guy had the same story, right?
Everybody got the good morning, beautiful text.
Yeah, I got a good morning, beautiful text from Sabrina. Hey, how you doing? But a substandard text from Sabrina. Do you know what I mean? And the clue here is actually what Tori said earlier on when he was talking about that she kind of gave a little bit of energy, but then kind of backs off, right? And she gave that wickedest gift of, what was it, the candle or something, fam? Like, anyway, but you know, I think she played the boys unfortunately, and I think they finally got together, had a little conversation, and Demetrius maybe was the last to kind of adhere to the advice that was probably given. And so when it finally happened that he saw what he saw, he's like, damn, I should have listened to the boys earlier, because now look what situation I'm actually in. But again, I said again, you know, what were the boys seeing? What were you actually looking at? Were you actually paying attention and listening? Because if you were, you don't put yourself in this situation. You have to take accountability. As much as I said the same thing for the women. Like, if you getting played by the guy, but you weren't really listening, then you've got to take responsibility and accountability for the fact that you weren't really listening to what he was saying. And the same thing here with the boys. They got played too nicely. And I think Demetrius was just like, yo, like, man, I should listen to the man them. Like, you know when the ones where your boy's hard-headed, you can't tell him nothing. You've told him, bro, this girl gonna play you. And no, look at the way she's sending me a text. All right, cool. Then he finds out, he's like, oh, bro, like, my bad, like, you know, I was feeling her, so that's why I couldn't really listen to what you were saying. I
did miss a note though.
Go for it, T.
He says the trust was broken, but he said it like it was his fault. And in all caps, I put, what was broken? What was broken?
Yeah, because he said they were on a mending phase, right?
He did say that, yeah.
I don't know.
That's true. Interesting.
But would it have made it a different? But would it have made a difference, the outcome?
No, she would have still done what she did.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, because she has the same values. You know what I mean?
Correct.
She just made it very plain what her values were. She ain't changing her name. She ain't following, you know, blah blah. Which I said this from when she said it the first time, when she said about submission. When she outrightly denied submission, I said, yeah, you're gonna have power struggles with Sabrina for the rest of your relationship life. That is what I am all here for the new woman. Listen, be all that, but you're gonna have power struggles. That's what Sabrina was describing. Look, that whole I'm not changing my name thing is also a stand that she takes. Fantastic. But there's not going to be many. I'm not talking about the name itself. It's not that. It's the energy behind it. There are not going to be many men. So she needs a Tory, but she don't want a Tory. No. So she's going to have issues, because it's only going to be people like Tory.
It's going to get boring for her.
It's going to get boring for her. So she's always going to be stuck in this paradox of this whirlwind of wanting a guy that's going to be able to be accepted, saying, we are literally co-equals, meaning that, listen, you and I always say this, we're not equals. Men and women are not equal. And anybody who believes we're equal have lied to themselves. When you carry a child for 9 months, we're not equal. We have different roles. We have equity in a relationship. Yeah. We're different. So wanting that same equality, right? Wanting two people to lead in a relationship is problematic. Have you ever had a car with two steering wheels before? See what happens. One wants to go left, one goes right. That car ain't going nowhere.
So what about the lead? What about the person who's got their hands on the wheel and the other one's like, okay, baby, take a left. I'm looking at the directions. Like, you know what I'm saying? So wouldn't that be, I think in our community, well, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I think we put too much on the submission thing. And to be honest, it'd be nice if we both submitted to each other. It's just a word. Like if I'm linked into you and you linked into me, we're going to be good. You drive. I got the directions right here. I'm not going to drop you. You're not going to drop me. Like it could all just be so damn simple.
The submission thing, though, if we're taking it biblical, okay, the man is submitting to God, the woman is submitting to the man.
Mm-hmm.
So the woman is never really submitting to the man if the man is following God. They're both submitting to God. He's just the first line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, it's like if my job is to guard our household and listen to God, and that comes, and I'm a vessel of Him, then we're both on the same page and we're going. But when a woman literally says, "I'm not submitting," immediately, and she has this visceral response to it, then it's like, oh, we don't have nothing to talk about.
And then I agree.
Me around like 5 steps behind me. I don't need that from you. But I do need you. I do need to listen. I need to be able to lead this relationship. And I need you to trust my decision-making abilities. And if not, we don't need to be together.
But isn't there space for the man to trust the woman as well? Because when you talk about hearing from God, how wildly intuitive are women? A smart man knows, like, this is something I cultivate and practice now. When I'm dreaming, like, God talks to me crazy. Like I see here, it's almost like, I know we all have psychic abilities, but it's just like, that's why I say all of us together, because yes, it's even from biblical, you know, the man hears from God and then he gives a direction and that's cool. But the woman hears from God too. And I just think a wise man knows that he knows when she's, oh, I don't know if we should do that, or don't make that call now, or whatever it's going to be. He can yield to that too. So it's still, to me, such a partnership that doesn't need any kind of power struggle, when you both just understand the value in each other and let that be what it is.
And
but you're right about Sabrina.
It's not a power struggle though, right? Because what you're talking about, I feel like we're talking about the same thing, right? And that just flows well. And as a man, you trust your woman that her spirit of discernment or whatever it is, whatever gift she's working in that moment, that's, hey, okay, cool. She's watching my back. We're doing this together. We are a team, you know? I dribble, sometimes I pass. Hey, like we said on the podcast the other day, what Chris Rock say, somebody got to play the tambourine sometime, you know? You know, so yeah. I just don't think that she's okay to play the tambourine.
And I think you're right about that.
That's the issue I'm talking about. I think, you know, and of course the submission aspect, you know, it can be triggering because the word sometimes gets misplaced by people when they use it. I just think that the energy that she was bringing, I already knew it wasn't about necessarily submission. This is somebody who says she wants to stand on the same podium you're on, and that's always going to be a problem, right? Because the male's pride and the male's ego, most men will not be able to have it, and the kind of man that's going to want to have it is going to be the one that's going to want to follow you.
Yeah, that she didn't want though.
You know what I mean? And she don't want that. Yeah. So
herein lies the problem.
And that's where lies the problem. So she needs to find, and that for me tells me that I think what's happened is whatever you've experienced in your past has caused you to feel a type of way about following a man. And that's something that needs to be worked out. Agreed. So that we don't have to have this conversation in the same way, because you're absolutely right. If I'm and I will say this, good leadership does not ignore the people that I'm leading. Good leadership takes stock of what everyone's saying, who I'm leading, and makes a wise decision. Now, sometimes I might have to overrule it, but there are times where I'm going to have to be diplomatic and be democratic. And actually, you know what? That's a good idea. Like what you saw, I didn't see it. Let's go. And you gave a great example, Jamie, because you actually described what I describe as submission, which is if you've ever watched rally car racing, everybody thinks, oh, the driver's important. No. The driver's important to get a destination. But if he doesn't have the instructions, he's doomed. Because he's got to go 90 left. And if he doesn't do that, we've got problems. So that's how submission should be working. It's a tandem of how we move together. But I always say that the man in society has been born to lead. If he doesn't do that, we have problems. Look at our community as Black people. When the men are taken out, you've got a community that doesn't do well. So men are told to lead. And if they lead very well in love, it should be that it's easy for you to follow. Just like being at work and having a good boss. Nobody complains about the good boss. Oh, boss, you want to do this for you? All right, cool. But the one that's dead and doesn't know his job, always delegating, always shirking responsibility, not good at the actual, you know,
can't lead himself.
can't tell. Nobody wants to follow that person. And that's the same with men. If you're rubbish at leading, nobody wants to submit. Nobody wants to get behind that. So maybe Sabrina also saw that as well from Demetrius, because boy, I don't know what he was doing. So, maybe that's also part of it.
Word.
Good stuff.
Talk that, bro. Talk that. Like, when it gets afterwards, that means you done said everything that could be said. Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking for my keys to hit you with the.
What I just said, only better.
That's what you said, Ty.
So to pretty much conclude, Sabrina is removing herself. Demetrius is shocked and wonders if this was just a game to her, if she even took this serious. He said that his journey started and ended with Sabrina. But unfortunately, they will both leave separately, and she feels that she is making the best decision for herself. Yes.
I'm shocked.
Nice word. Nice word.
She ain't even wait to the bridge.
She didn't have to go. She made it to the end. She figured it out.
At least, she saved him, I guess, that embarrassment.
Some flowers.
So what's the next episode going to be about? Who's Demetrius going to talk? Like, what? He might as well.
He's done.
He's done. He's done now.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, they both self-eliminated. Like,
okay.
Well, he done, she done.
Throw the whole season away. Just throw it away.
Yeah. Get the reset. This is not working.
I just know in his mind he was just like, ain't this about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I ever talked to Demetrius about this, I'm like, who would you have gone with instead of? Would you have just left, right? Because
who, I wonder.
Yeah. Like who, so. But
I don't really think there was any.
There wasn't anyone because he didn't really out.
Would Dakia have worked for him in any kind of way?
I don't.
Would have worked for who? Demetrius?
No.
Demetrius not spicy enough for Dakia, man.
Yeah.
She needs oysters down her throat, and that's not what he's gonna do. So.
Okay, I feel
oysters, Sabrina, oysters. Why did you look like that, Sabrina? Oysters. I meant what I said, oysters, nothing else, guys.
I'm sorry. Y'all know I'm abstinent, so abstinent. At this point, I got virgin ears, so I don't know.
Man.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Yes. So thank you so much, guys. I love you so much, guys. So before we conclude and before we end, please, I would love everyone to go around, tell everyone who you are and where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm Jamie. I'm an on-camera host. I do a lot of other things, but it's all good. You can find me here on Instagram, having fun. I've been doing reels lately. Y'all been seeing me act a fool on it. And that's it. So follow me. What's that?
I'm about to check these reels out.
Yeah, I've been having fun.
Any of them by the sink or no?
Huh?
Any of them by the sink or no?
And even by the sink. Am I supposed to know what that means? Jay, you gotta go slow with me. I don't know what that means.
I'll talk to you about it afterwards.
Okay, yes. And I do an after discussion with Gus, who is there Fridays at 8 p.m. right after the show. So join us next week.
Love that.
Oh, Jay.
Love that. Jay with the Sigma moves.
Yeah. Every time.
Cerebral assassin.
Bro, assassinated well, baby. Well, guys, you already know I'm Little Black Book 91. So you can find me on YouTube. I'm a digital content creator, and that's literally it. So, Jamie, I'm gonna follow you. I didn't know you did reels.
Yeah.
What kind of reels do you do?
Fun ones. Not by the sink.
Kojo does reels too. Y'all should do reels together.
No, Sabrina, you just said the words I was gonna say, baby. Okay.
I saw how Kojo was looking. Soon as we
listen, Jamie's spicy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Jamie's spicy. I ain't gonna lie to you, Jamie.
I can see Kojo like, who Who is this? Who is this, baby? Who is
Light
this?
hitting just right, skin glowing, you know what I'm saying? She's popping like she just got off a Colgate commercial, you know what I mean?
And we try to keep it together over here, you know what I'm saying?
Got all the extra pillows on the couch. You know when they got all the extra pillows on the couch, she keeps the house clean.
Spotless.
2 pillows you got to worry about. She got about 5 pillows I can see. She got the white fuzzy one. You know that house clean, bro. You good.
Yep. Good observation.
Oh my gosh.
That's you, Ty.
Ty, yeah.
Tyrone, you know, I was on the last season with Sabrina, formerly known as the Logo. You catch me at Ty Wilson 21 everywhere. My content creation primarily focuses on mental health and cybersecurity, so you could catch that as well. But you may start to see more from myself and from my reason for being formally known as the Logo Ace pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that, y'all.
And when he means Ace, he means Ace that was on this season that left so eloquently. And you know what I'm saying?
Hi, did you confirm that rumor?
She's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't know her. I didn't know, it wasn't for me. I didn't know her at the time. I didn't meet her until their premiere party.
You all right? Coach?
So wait.
January.
True.
You supposed to have the minerals, bro.
Yeah,
bro. Listen, do you know what? I didn't ask that. So the rumors are true. He's you and Ace.
Yeah, we've been dating since January
Actually,
2018.
Yeah.
He announced it on his show like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he announced it.
Everybody was here but you, Coach.
I know, man. Damn. I was in South Africa. My bad.
I was getting ready to say,
minerals.
I was going to say I be having some exclusives too, Kojo.
You got that tea?
I had a little bit of the tea. And you know we only sip champagne over here.
Champagne, baby. Champagne.
I have
champagne with an S, baby. Okay.
That's what's up. I think this is on me. So Jay Brad, is that it? It's right here. Right here. There we go. Right there. Jay Brad, I was on what was it? Season 3? I think so. Yeah. Anyway, we
just gonna say the resort because
they done
messed all the numbers.
Yeah, that's my IG, and then we're actually doing something pretty fun. Me and Joy and I from my season are doing the Communicate the podcast. So it's on YouTube at Failure TWO Communicate. We're having fun. We just had Nephew Tommy on. I don't know if y'all saw that, man. Yeah, that's laughing. My stomach was hurting afterwards, man. So so that's on YouTube, Failure to Communicate. But that's it, man. I'm just chilling, and I'm also a soulmate. I'm also a soul.
That's cute. That's real cute. I like that. That's real cute.
But look, and Kojo, I'm sorry if this is out of pocket, and I'll take it to I'll take it. Say, man, can you sing the thing for me, bro? You got the mineral. Come on, bro.
Wait,
you got the mineral.
Oh no!
Yes.
Yes. Man. Listen, you got the minerals. You got the minerals.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
I was playing too much.
Who is that?
With that big old smile on your face.
I know.
Okay, come on.
You're going on tour. You're going on the mineral tour. I love it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, bro. Thank you for that, bro. I love it when you sing it.
Yes.
We soulmates.
Yes, we are soulmates. Yes. As a matter of fact, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to my panel. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Yes, you can definitely now subscribe, join the membership, hit that join button. Don't forget to like this video on your way out. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to follow everyone on this panel as well. I love you so much, guys. You know, as always, I heart you. I'll see you until next time.
Bye, soulmates.
Bye, soulmates.